Chapter 191 Zhanxian exits the stage. Uncle Master Zhu. Yang Chen's goal was naturally Zhu Chentao. This Hall Master of Medicine Hall had always supported Yang Chen from the time he entered Pure Yang Palace. This time, it was Yang Chen's turn to return the favor. Regarding Yang Chen's arrival, Zhu Chentao was greatly astonished. Frankly speaking, in the outer world Yang Chen was renowned as a famous pill concocting master, but inside the Pure Yang Palace, he had never once entered the medicine hall. He was trying to think of why Yang Chen had come to find him this time. Fortunately, today Zhu Chentao was guiding disciples and hadn't entered seclusion to concoct pills, thus Yang Chen was able to catch him. Seeing Zhu Chentao, Yang Chen didn't directly say anything about the matter, rather pulling the senior to his room within the second Fierce Yang courtyard. After which, he placed a layer of restriction and secretly asked the main body of Gi Shanyu to place a layer of restriction as well. Some matters were not suitable for many people to know. The Beast Taming Sect had kept it secret for 10 years, and the Sect Master of Beast Taming Sect and Palace Master of Pure Yang Palace were discussing it right now. Yang Chen also didn't want to let it known to strangers. At least he could not allow those people who were harboring disloyal and malicious intentions towards Pure Yang Palace to know about this. What affair requires so much mysteriousness and secrecy? Zhu Chentao was baffled, unable to figure out what Yang Chen wanted. Seeing him attach so much importance to this matter, he was greatly surprised. Uncle Master Zhu, there is a matter for which I require your assistance. After confirming that no one else would hear their conversation, Yang Chen made his request with the utmost seriousness. After he explained the entire matter, Zhu Chentao almost jumped out of his skin in astonishment, completely discarding the poise of a Jidan expert. What? Refining an elixir to treat a Dacheng stage expert? Zhu Chentao's eyes opened widely, simply not daring to believe what he had just heard. Furthermore, an injury left behind by a yin fire tribulation several hundred years ago. Me? How is it possible? Uncle Master Zhu, how can you say it's impossible? Looking at Zhu Chentao, Yang Chen was slightly dumbfounded. Even disciple didn't think it was impossible, so how can Uncle Master think it is? Zhu Chentao only then remembered that Yang Chen was famous for pill refining in the outside world because he had successfully refined the heaven-seizing pill. That was a pill which allowed people to ascend, which was many times more formidable than this elixir used to cure injuries. Can I really? But when all was said and done, Zhu Chentao hadn't ever considered being able to refine elixirs for the Dacheng stage. Never mind Dacheng stage, he didn't harbor much hope in successfully refining elixirs at the Yuning stage. When it come to pill refining, the Pure Yang Palace wasn't a very knowledgeable sect, so Zhu Chentao not having confidence was completely normal. Naturally, disciple still requires Uncle Master's strength. Naturally, Yang Chen wasn't about to pour cold water over Zhu Chentao's hopes. In fact, he wanted to use this opportunity to push Zhu Chentao another step forward in the pill concocting world, even give him a push to rise from Jidan stage to Yuning stage. How can I help you? Zhu Chentao suddenly realized something. Yang Chen was obviously giving him a huge opportunity. He could already refine an elixir capable of restoring a pill spirit, how could he require help to refine an elixir that only needed to treat a constituent spirit? Clearly, Yang Chen wanted him to broaden his horizons and rise another step using this excuse. When it came to pill concocting, even if Zhu Chentao was the Hall Master of Medicine Hall, he wouldn't dare compare himself with Yang Chen. Yang Chen, even his first layer, could create the recipe for and refine the Shunkai pill. Not only that, he could already refine third-grade pills of Kai supporting pill, Yuan cultivation pill and foundation stage pill, while Zhu Chentao can only refine them at most 2 times. This was the difference between them. If Yang Chen's cultivation wasn't low and he hadn't already paid his respects to Fierce Yang Hall instead of under Zhu Chentao's name, then Zhu Chentao would have nourished Yang Chen as the future Hall Master of Medicine Hall. Now Yang Chen wanted his assistance, and even if he called it assistance, it was clear he was the one helping Zhu Chentao. Since Zhu Chentao was his elder, he couldn't thank him, but in his heart, he was extremely grateful for the opportunity. How could he not agree to this? Then first let me pay my gratitude to Uncle Master Zhu. Yang Chen didn't mention when the refining will start. It was still early enough since all the required materials had to be prepared, so there was no need to be hasty. For the time being, there is no rush, but first Uncle Master Zhu must make the appropriate arrangements for Medicine Hall. After the refining begins, you won't be able to attend Medicine Hall for 1 or 2 years. That is not a problem, I will return to make the arrangements. Zhu Chentao didn't talk much and stood up to go make arrangements. Uncle Master, you don't need to rush. Just wait for the instructions of Palace Master. Yang Chen also stood up and smiled. Zhu Chentao was seemingly impatient to get started. This matter naturally would not begin until the talks between Palace Master and Sect Master of Beast Taming Sect were completed, so presently there was no need to be hasty. Haha, however I am very eager. Zhu Chentao also embarrassedly smiled and also sat down, calming his heart, and began to talk with Yang Chen about controlling fire and other things. The beast taming sect has also agreed to compensate for delaying 10 years of Uncle Master's cultivation. Yang Chen first told him about the advantages beast taming sect offered. The Lianyan's pill concocting furnace will also be given to you, Uncle Master. There really is such a thing. This was again a pleasant surprise. Just witnessing and helping with the refining itself was enough to make Zhu Chentao participate. With still more unexpected benefits to come, how could he not be joyous? That pill concocting furnace of pill concocting master He Lianyan was already a famous treasure which unexpectedly was already scheduled to come to him. Presently you don't have a good pill concocting furnace, you can make good use of it. After rejoicing for a moment, Zhu Chentao calmed his head, attempting to refuse. Although he was delighted, Zhu Chentao carefully thought it through. In pill concocting talent alone, Yang Chen was clearly far ahead of him. If Yang Chen had a high-grade pill concocting furnace, then it would certainly increase his power by leaps and bounds. Although it was unfortunate, helping Yang Chen increase his strength would help many pill concocting masters in Pyongyang Palace. In front of such an outcome, how could he covet a pill concocting furnace for himself? Disciple already has the high-grade pill concocting furnace conferred by the Uncle Master Zhu, so I don't require another. Yang Chen clearly knew the thoughts in Zhu Chentao's heart and moved to cut them off. At the moment, he already had the profound spirit furnace, why would he need another one? Although Zhu Chentao had such thoughts, Yang Chen felt that himself assisting Zhu Chentao this time was not a mistake, but rather was well deserved. Zhu Chentao was certainly a deserving individual. Zhu Chentao naturally didn't believe Yang Chen at first glance, but after Yang Chen took out his profound spirit furnace and taking a look at the furnace which had already risen several grades, the earth-shattering transformation of the furnace thoroughly convinced Zhu Chentao that Yang Chen really had a high-grade spirit furnace. It was only then that he agreed. The events that followed were well within expectations. After Palace Master Zhang Jiao and few elders talked with Sect Master of Beast Taming Sect in Fanshan, they grandly sent the two people off. Soon after, they immediately called Yang Chen and Zhu Chentao in and told them about the discussion. Afterwards, the two of them went their separate ways to prepare individually. Although Yang Chen had already prepared a portion of the medicinal ingredients, the beast taming sect still required some more time to prepare all the ingredients. However, Fan Shan had already began his favor. The disciples of beast taming sect had already discovered the location of He Lianyan. After confirming this, Fan Shan moved heaven and earth to capture He Lianyan and his diehard followers within a single month. He Lianyan was a cowardly person, otherwise he wouldn't have easily handed over the real sun fire. Facing Fan Shan's threats, he didn't dare to haggle over the price. Between being swallowed by Fan Shan's spirit beast or handing over all the flames he had collected over his life, He Lianyan cleverly chose the latter. After handing over the real moon fire obediently, he also had to hand over the cold ice flame, which he wanted to absorb first, in order to absorb the real moon fire. His few disciples also handed over two flames, green phosphorescence fire and profound wood fire. High-grade flames were not always needed, but the two flames his disciples had handed over were both suitable for pill concocting. Fan Shan complied with his promise and didn't kill He Lianyan, rather abolishing his cultivation and delivering the group to Pyongyang Palace. This was at the request of Palace Master Zhang Jiao, he wanted to execute both He Lianyan and those clansmen together to display Pyongyang Palace's temperament. He Lianyan certainly hadn't anticipated such an ending. At this stage, any trick he tried, any benefit he promised, any agreement he tried to strike with Fan Shan for high-grade pills, everything was rendered impotent. When they were working together, Fan Shan had already understood He Lianyan's temperament. Further, the slander circulating about Yang Chen was something originally fabricated by him, how could he cooperate with a small person like He Lianyan? When comparing him with Yang Chen, a pill master and genius with grand future prospects, he would be an idiot to offend the latter. This time, Pyongyang Palace had displayed an unprecedented hardline stance regarding Yang Chen's matter. First they silently invited few big sects to witness the confrontation and afterwards silently set off the campaign to capture those clansmen, He Lianyan and his disciples. Furthermore they had also grandly announced to everyone that these people will be executed. As for the one who to kill them, it was naturally chosen to be Yang Chen. He was originally an executioner and karma had been sown between all these people and Yang Chen. Yang Chen also didn't have anything to be afraid of. So outside the gate of Pyongyang Palace, under the eyes of several hundred disciples of other sects and loose cultivators, he chopped their heads off one by one. Pyongyang Palace's actions caused a huge uproar. The few big sects didn't express their views, except to say that killing too many people would affect their cultivation. Their manner of handling such a problem was similar anyway. If someone had dared to knock on their door with such matters, their response would have been even more cruel. But many loose cultivators thought Pure Yang Palace was being tyrannical, but they only spoke about this when they met another rogue cultivator. No one dared to personally come and create trouble for Pure Yang Palace. Who would oppose the Pure Yang Palace for the sake of a few dead people? The loose cultivators had no sect to back them, and they were far from fools. Bother the sect. Hadn't they witnessed the end of Zhanxian and those clansmen? In the midst of this clamor, beast-taming sect also firmly expressed their support of Pure Yang Palace, stating that such people who had dared to slander others needed to be killed. None of the big sects had responded, and the loose cultivators didn't dare talk. Within the second-rate sects, beast-taming sect and other few sects who were on good terms with Pure Yang Palace had also expressed their support. At this point, who still dared to say anything to the contrary? Even if they had anything to say, who would dare to challenge Pure Yang Palace at Miking Mountain? Those people who had previously dared to spread malicious words about Yang Chen and Pure Yang Palace decided to cleverly shut their mouths, not even daring to mention rumor that Yang Chen had stolen the pill recipe of heaven-seizing pill of the clan. It commonly said that rumors die when people become wise, but most of the time, rumors are stopped by force. Those people who still wanted to obtain the pill recipe from Yang Chen, in these circumstances, they also sensed Pure Yang Palace's attitude. Regardless of whether they still harbored such thoughts within their heart or not, at least on the surface, they didn't dare to say anything. Seeing the end of this matter, everyone also began to realize that the current Pure Yang Palace was not a pushover. These few years, the strength of Pure Yang Palace had increased by leaps and bounds. Not only had they gained 1 Cheng stage expert and 2 Yuning stage experts as part of Eccentric Hall. They hadn't suffered the slightest during the great calamity of devil cultivation, while other sects had suffered great losses. Their decisions had allowed Pure Yang Palace's authority among Dao sects to greatly increase. But those matters were for Palace Master Zhang Jiao and other elders to think about. Yang Chen was endlessly happy holding his newly acquired pile of flames. Green phosphorus fire, profound wood fire, cold ice fire, and real moon fire, he'd obtained 4 flames all of a sudden. If the profound spirit furnace absorbed these 4 flames, it will certainly become the most formidable furnace in the mortal world. Even Dang Yi's purple furnace will also be inferior compared to it. The profound wood fire was perfect for Yang Chen to act as a buffer before real sun fire. As for other flames, apart from real moon fire, the green phosphorus fire and cold ice fire were both 4th fire attribute and could completely fuse with geocentric fire, increasing his fire attributed cultivation by 1 more step. The flames should also be absorbed in sequence from lower to higher grade. After his cultivation had risen again in the future, he could refine even more high-grade flames. When flames were refined within the body, they could fuse with other flames and increase their grade. Yang Chen didn't even dare to think about the real moon fire right now, but he could think about refining other types of flames. Only today, he had to first make profound spirit furnace absorb it. It could greatly upgrade the profound spirit furnace, which would be beneficial for future pill concocting. While the refining the mixture of the flames was time-consuming, it would pay dividends later when it came to refining speed of pills. Other people believed Yang Chen's cultivation would be delayed because he chose to accept this refining request. They wouldn't be able to even imagine that Yang Chen could still increase his cultivation during pill concocting. Zhu Chentao had also received the pill concocting furnace he had been yearning for. The high-grade pill furnace used by a Yuning stage expert was now in his hands, which made him extremely delighted. When Yang Chen had given him the furnace, he had repeatedly warned him to refine it and make every effort to begin to refine some pills. The high-grade pill furnace could not only increase the level of a pill concocting master, they could also increase the success rate of pill concocting, as well as the quality of pills refined. When Fan Shan handed everything to him, he also gave him an approximate idea of when all the materials would be gathered. Yang Chen still wanted to wait for 1 year before officially beginning pill concocting. This 1 year was just perfect to allow Yang Chen to increase the level of the profound spirit furnace. Yang Chen didn't want it to waste this time. All the 4 flames were in his hands, only waiting to be absorbed by the profound spirit furnace. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 192 Upgrading the Profound Spirit Furnace. Great Master Wang Yong had already begun to refine the Killing Horn Flying Sword. After returning, Gongsun Ling had also headed back to that valley. As long as she could thoroughly understand the illusion spell, combined with the 2 top-grade spirit stones provided by Yang Chen, it would certainly end up being a life-saving treasure for her. Moreover, Gao Yu also had begun his meditation to cultivate the water-attributed cultivation method. During this time's pill concocting, he would not be able to see his master much for at least 10 years, therefore Yang Chen visited his master in advance to provide her with the things he had prepared. What is this? Bao Yu looked at the Qianqin pouch Yang Chen had provided her, but didn't open it immediately, instead asking curiously. For some time, disciple will go into seclusion with Uncle Master Zhu to concoct pills, therefore I have prepared some water-attributed fruits for you in advance. Yang Chen said with a smile. Disciple is just showing his filial respect, please use them while cultivating. Oh, one more thing, master, remember these fruits must be peeled before eating. Yang Chen again warned. If you eat one every day, then it will last almost as long as disciple is in seclusion. As for the others, you don't need to worry much. Just wait for the sect to purge some people, and then we will tell them. The Gao Yu, hearing this line that didn't make any sense was as if Gao Yu had entered a misty black fog. Until Yang Chen left, Gao Yu didn't clearly understand what Yang Chen had meant, what fruit. What peel and eat. But when she opened the Qianqin pouch and glanced at the contents inside, her whole person was rooted to the spot. Even if Gao Yu had stressed tool refining as her field, it didn't mean she was unaware of medicinal ingredients. Nestled within the Qianqin pouch were clearly profound yang fruits. Moreover, they were the 1,000-year profound yang fruits, all of them at least maturity of 1,500 years. All of the fruits were large and sturdy, neatly arranged within the Qianqin pouch. There were at least 10,000 fruits, so if she ate one per day, then they would last for at least 27 to 28 years. Each of these matured profound yang fruits, as long as they were refined properly, could turn into high-grade foundation stage pills. If ordinary cultivators wanted to purchase such fruits they would at least have to pay a price of 1,000 low-grade spirit stones. These 10,000 profound yang fruits, if introduced to the market, would sell for at least 100 high-grade spirit stones. Such enormous wealth and natural resources, Yang Chen had surprisingly turned over to Gao Yu to show his filial respect. Even more astonishing, he had still asked her to peel them before eating, didn't he know that even the peel of such matured profound yang fruits were also precious ingredients? For some time, Gao Yu couldn't understand how to deal with these profound yang fruits. Should she really follow Yang Chen's opinion and treat them as fruits to eat them? If these were handed over to the sect, let alone other things, these would produce 10,000 high-quality foundation stage pills. How big a benefit would that be for the sect? But she also understood Yang Chen's final warning sentence. The luminous moon hall had not been exactly friendly to either master and disciple. It could be said that there was clear hostility from their side. Besides, that clan and Lianyan also surprisingly knew that she had sealed her cultivation to cultivate a water-attributed cultivation method. Clearly, someone in the sect had leaked that information, and luminous moon hall couldn't escape responsibility. If these fruits came out in public, it would certainly be troublesome and maybe again give people an excuse to target master and disciple. Since Yang Chen had insisted so much, she would accept them. In all likelihood, Yang Chen had arranged for them long ago, and Gao Yu didn't believe that Yang Chen would not have thought about the sect. His actions all these years clearly proved his care for the sect. After piecing all this together, Gao Yu was finally able to calm her heart and in accordance with Yang Chen's words, peeled and ate a fruit. Immediately, an enormous amount of spirit power erupted, so massive in fact that she was unable to absorb it completely with her water-attributed cultivation of third Kai layer. Finally, after the water-attributed spirit power had increased many times over, she undid the seal on her fire-attributed spirit power and used the cultivation of Jidan stage to absorb this colossal amount of spirit power without letting any go to waste. Only now did Gao Yu realize why Yang Chen had told her to eat only one fruit per day, her present cultivation at most could only handle one. With this speed, by the time Yang Chen was finished concocting pills for 10 years, her water-attributed cultivation would have already reached mid-foundation stage. After all, she already had the temperament of a Jidan stage cultivator and the spiritual awareness of peak Jidan stage cultivator. After sensing this, Gao Yu also again developed complete confidence about Yang Chen, he didn't even conceal such things from her. Regarding Yang Chen, her disciple, she was more than satisfied. Over the course of the next several days, Zhu Chentao had already made proper arrangements for Medicine Hall, even entrusting Law Enforcement Hall's Hallmaster Meng Xian to act as a substitute hallmaster. Within the Medicine Hall, there were many Foundation and Jidan stage experts, but all of them were ordinary, so even under the supervision of Law Enforcement Hall, they should not devolve into chaos. Yang Chen also had no option but to relieve himself of his status as merit-transferring disciple, since he would be in seclusion for more than 10 years, refining pills. It would be impossible for him to continue to hold office. This time however, everyone in the Nine Earth Manor and Yishu Manor were reluctant to part with him. Not to speak of other things, this merit-transferring disciple Yang Chen hadn't let any person remain anxious for any problem related to cultivation. Yang Chen had to enter seclusion to concoct pills because of the sex affairs, but Palace Master Zhang Jiao had released a statement to everyone, stating that the time for Yang Chen to serve as merit-transferring disciple had already been fulfilled and it was just an ordinary turnover of responsibility. This was just normal substitution, no one could find anything inappropriate here. As for the refining location, it was chosen to be Yang Chen's little courtyard within the second Fierce Yang courtyard. The palace master Zhang Jiao had thought of arranging an even more dependable place, but Yang Chen had insisted on this. What a joke, what more safer place could there be in the pure Yang Palace than the location of alt-treat demon Qi Shanyu's body? Yang Chen's 4 servants kept cultivating even while following after Yang Chen all these years. Yang Chen had also spared no pain in guiding them. All of them had already reached peak Kai layer. Before this time's seclusion, Yang Chen also wanted to honor the commitment he had made to them. These are 4 third-grade foundation stage pills. Yang Chen called all 4 of them and in front of everyone, placed a foundation stage pill with a clear pill pattern. Right now, all of you are at peak Kai layer. I had promised you all foundation stage pills, so take it. After reaching foundation stage, you all will be inner disciples of my pure Yang Palace and will not be servants anymore, do your best to behave. All 4 people kept on looking at each other, unable to repress their emotions. Originally they had believed they would remain servants at Yishu Manor for the rest of their lives. They had never anticipated that they would one day become inner disciples. Naturally, all this had come from Yang Chen. Just as the pavilion closest to water enjoys moonlight first, they all had also obtained most detailed and frequent guidance, so more than half of their success could be attributed to Yang Chen. Thanks, young master. 4 of them uniformly kowtowed in front of Yang Chen. Yang Chen also didn't stop them and received their respects. This is the last time you will call me young master. After reaching foundation stage, I will be your senior apprentice brother. 3rd grade foundation stage pills were sufficient for those 4 to reach foundation stage. After Yang Chen had given them the pills, all 4 took their leave with different feelings in their heart. In the beginning, none of the 4 had accepted Yang Chen and had even thought to forcefully dominate Yang Chen during the first month. But after being beaten by Yang Chen and following him for so many years, they had also obtained great benefits. Now, they were one step away from moving from a servant status to inner disciple of pure Yang Palace, simply a difference between heaven and hell. Although none of them said anything, everyone knew that in the future, they should definitely continue to follow Yang Chen. After all the things Yang Chen had done at pure Yang Palace, their prestige had also grown at pure Yang Palace. Certainly, following Yang Chen was never a mistake. Olin, if you can reach foundation stage in 1 year, then I will allow you to wait upon me and Uncle Master Zhu while we are concocting pills in seclusion. Although she still hadn't reached foundation stage, the benefits had already dropped in. Observing Olin, Yang Chen encouragingly said. If you display satisfactory performance and impress Uncle Master Zhu, then paying respects and entering Uncle Master Zhu's faction is also not impossible. Olin was beyond happy and hastily bowed her head. Being able to help in Yang Chen and Zhu Chentao's pill concocting was certainly an opportunity which could only be found by luck and not by seeking. Olin herself emphasized pill concocting, so naturally she knew the seriousness of this chance. As for being able to pay respects to Zhu Chentao and enter his faction, it made her even more delighted. Zhu Chentao was the hallmaster of Medicine Hall. Although he was only at Jedant stage, everyone in the pure Yang Palace was extremely respectfully towards him. Entering his faction was definitely the first choice of any disciple trying to become a pill concocting master. Naturally, being able to pay respect under Yang Chen's faction would have been an even better opportunity, but unfortunately, Yang Chen was only at initial foundation stage and could not accept disciples. However, for Olin, this was not a big deal. Yang Chen was her young master. If she goes to Yang Chen with any questions, Yang Chen would never decline. After sending off the delighted and surprised servants, Yang Chen sealed his courtyard and began to increase the grade of Profound Spirit Furnace. The Profound Spirit Furnace, which had absorbed the geocentric flame, real sun fire and Naming flame, had already become very high grade, not in the least inferior to Helian's ancient pill concocting furnace. Green phosphorus fire and cold ice flame were the same grade as the geocentric flame, so there wouldn't be much difficulty in absorbing it into the Profound Spirit Furnace. When Yang Chen had first used the Profound Spirit Furnace to absorb the geocentric flame, he had to waste half a year. Naturally, at that time, Yang Chen's cultivation was low and the grade of Profound Spirit Furnace was also inferior, but now he didn't have to waste so much effort. Both green phosphorus fire and cold ice flame belonged to the 4th fire attribute. Yang Chen easily absorbed them both within the Profound Spirit Furnace at the same time. From beginning to end, it only took 2 months. Profound Wood Flame was a little bit troublesome. Compared to the geocentric flame, it was of a higher grade. But it wasn't a big deal for the Profound Spirit Furnace, which had already absorbed the real sun fire. Within another 2 months, the Profound Wood Flame was successfully absorbed and stored within the furnace body. But the next real moon fire was also quite troublesome. This flame was on the same level as real sun fire, but its nature was the complete opposite. Yang Chen wanted to absorb it too, but he couldn't allow the real moon fire to come in contact with the real sun fire stored within the furnace. With his present cultivation, that was an almost impossible task. Fortunately, the real sun fire and Naming fire had already laid a good foundation. With those two, the impossible task turned into something just highly difficult. Yang Chen only needed to be a little careful and have some patience. As for Yang Chen, who had played with fire for over 10,000 years in his past life, how could he let a trifling real moon fire baffle him? Back when he absorbed the real sun fire, he had used the same technique and process. Only this time, he just needed to be a little careful and not let the real sun fire encounter real moon fire inside the furnace. It was similar to refining two types of flames together, but for Yang Chen, success was only a matter of time. After half a year, the real moon fire was also completely absorbed within the profound spirit furnace. In addition to these 4 types of flames, the profound spirit furnace already had 7 types of flames. Of those, 3 of them were high grade, Naming fire, real sun fire, real moon fire. The whole magic tool's grade had risen more than twice. The body of profound spirit furnace was emitting a hazy light and didn't have the color and luster that gave it its customary illusionary sensation. But Yang Chen knew that in front of the current profound spirit furnace, let alone Helenian's furnace, even Deng Yi's purple-colored furnace, which was used to refine heaven-seizing pills, were just dregs. After absorbing 7 flames, the profound spirit furnace had already attained the peak of magic tools in the mortal world. Naturally, if he could also absorb the real pure Yang fire passed down by the great ancestor of pure Yang Palace, then it will genuinely reach the pinnacle which no other pill-concocting furnace of the mortal world could attain. Among the magic weapons and magic tools which Yang Chen had, only the profound spirit furnace could separate itself from Yang Chen's cultivation and continue to be upgraded. But this moment, the profound spirit furnace didn't have the aura of a high-grade magic weapon, rather seeming reserved, like nothing out of the ordinary. If he told someone that this seemingly unremarkable furnace has some relation to the one of the most formidable pill-concocting furnaces of the heavenly courts, no one would believe him. With the present profound spirit furnace, Yang Chen could refine the elixir for healing Senior Black Tiger even more easily and with a greater chance of success. By this moment, Yang Chen's preparation was already nearly complete, taking him more or less 10 months. Now, he just had to wait for Beast Taming Sect to deliver the ingredients. During the waiting time, Yang Chen once again went to meet his master. With the profound Yang fruits given by Yang Chen, within these 10 months, Gao Yu's cultivation advanced by leaps and bounds and had already reached 5th Kai layer from 3rd Kai layer. Moreover, within the short period of 2 months, it had already increased by 2 minor layers. Even if it was Fairy Shy who was in another whole world with regard to cultivation speed, she couldn't match this cultivation speed. Naturally, Yang Chen and Gao Yu both knew that apart from the profound Yang fruits, Gao Yu's formidable peak Jidan stage spirit awareness was also a significant reason for this speed. Despite all this, Gao Yu was still astonished. She wondered whether she was really suited to water-attributed cultivation methods. But she obviously had a fire-attribute spirit root. Master, don't be worried about you cultivation, you will know the reason with time. Naturally, Yang Chen couldn't tell her the reason right now, let alone make it public. In his last life, it was because others knew that Gao Yu had a postnatal water-attributed full spirit root that she had been forced to become someone's Dao companion. This life, before Yang Chen obtained the strength to protect Gao Yu, he would certainly not let anyone know. Ho Lin was not willing to break Yang Chen's trust. Within brief 10 months, with the assistance of the 3rd grade foundation stage pill, she had successfully built her foundation. In fact, all of Yang Chen's 4 servants had a similar cultivation. The other 3 had already reached foundation stage and entered the inner sect, only Ho Lin was waiting for Yang Chen, waiting to see whether she has the opportunity to enter Zhu Chentao's faction or not. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 193 Cultivating Well Pill Concocting. Before Yang Chen entered seclusion, he was called in by Palace Master Zhang Jiao. The reason for calling him this time was none other than Yang Chen's 4 servants reaching foundation stage. Among the inner disciples of Pure Yang Palace, how many were servants? It was not like servants who had the benefit of a long cultivation period and good guidance from their masters could not reach foundation stage successfully, but these kind of servants are very rare. Moreover, servants with inferior aptitudes who could reach foundation stage within a short 20 years belonged to Yang Chen alone. This point had already clearly illustrated Yang Chen's exceptional guiding abilities. Guiding a disciple with a good aptitude to reach foundation stage was very easy, but guiding a servant who had an inferior aptitude to reach foundation stage was not something many could do. Palace Master Zhang Jiao only wanted to know the reason behind Yang Chen's incisively accurate guidance so as to confirm whether other merit-transferring disciples could also do what Yang Chen had done. It must be known that the more robust the foundation of a cultivator was, the higher his future accomplishments were. The entire time, Palace Master Zhang Jiao was only thinking about raising the sect's strength. Reason? Yang Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, since Palace Master had asked a question that he was obliged to reply, but could not be truthful. How could he explain that he had already lived one life and had also retained the memories of more than 10,000 years of that life? So he could only use another reason that was palatable to everyone. Palace Master disciple had already read and memorized millions of jade slips in the hidden pavilion of my sect. In those slips were the experiences of difficulties many seniors had faced during their cultivation. Yang Chen's words were also true. These past years he had really read all the jade slips in the hidden pavilion once, so it wasn't completely false. Moreover, all the 5 phases of this disciple has reached foundation stage, so disciple also has personally experienced all attributes. Thus when it comes to guiding disciples who have problems, disciple is personally aware of what they are going through. This was Yang Chen's second reason. To begin with, it was a convincing reason. Almost all the merit-transferring disciples could only provide guidance about the attribute they cultivated in, as for other attributes, they usually didn't have enough knowledge or experience. Both reasons were quite reasonable, but if someone wanted to replicate those circumstances, it would be quite difficult. Let alone foundation stage disciples, even Palace Master Zhang Jiao and any of the other Yuanying stage elders were incapable of doing so. If they spent the effort to read a million jade slips, perhaps they'd be able to do so, but reading and memorizing that many jade slips was easier said than done. Even still, that would still leave them bereft of experience regarding other attributes. However, presently, setting up 5 merit-transferring disciples, 1 for each attribute, would do the job better. Yang Chen seemed to hesitate for a moment before putting forward this suggestion. However, this suggestion was clearly against the unwritten rules that every disciple should follow after their karma. It wasn't like there was any provision that only one disciple could be made the merit-transferring disciple. But every big sect had such unwritten regulations, and no one had broken it. Yang Chen's words made Palace Master Zhang Jiao's brows pucker up immediately. But it doesn't sit well with the rules set by Ancestor, does it? Palace Master Zhang Jiao's thoughts also began to waver slightly. But tempting as it was, this clearly did not conform with the rules. The eccentric hall also isn't in keeping with the rules set by Ancestor. Yang Chen faintly smiled and reminded him. If my Pure Yang Palace indeed becomes the first in the entire world to implement this rule, then maybe everyone can follow along. Palace Master Zhang Jiao pondered for a moment and faintly shook his head. Is there any other dependable method? We cannot create an opportunity for other sects to exploit. Perhaps all sects understood that if they had more merit-transferring disciples that they could provide better guidance to those outer disciples. But it was also unknown which ancestor had left behind this rule and insisted on using this ineffective and merciless rule to guide the disciples of all sects, playing such an important role in affecting their destiny. Reforming the immortal cultivating sects was even more difficult than reforming the heavenly court. Even the eccentric hall was established only because there was no precedent. Only when Pure Yang Palace saw that the resistance from the sects weren't too great and the obvious benefits did they clench their teeth and go through with it. Any problems that would have popped up were quickly erased with Elder Wu's support and the devil cultivation calamity. Only because of these 2 events was it accepted by everyone with great difficulty. Pure Yang Palace was only a second-rate sect, but after the previous few events, if they absolutely insisted on transforming the merit-transferring disciples system, then it certainly cannot begin from Pure Yang Palace. Therefore, the Palace Master was asking Yang Chen to think of a method. How about if 9 Earth Manor can still have only 1 merit-transferring disciple, but if every Pekai layer disciple voluntary agrees to be the merit-transferring disciple's assistant and guide the younger disciples for 1 year in exchange for reward of a second-grade foundation stage pill, wouldn't this improve the situation? Seeing that Palace Master Zhang Jiao was serious about increasing the reserve strength of Pure Yang Palace, Yang Chen thought for a brief moment and gave a solution that could act as a compromise. Pekai layer disciples guiding junior fellow disciples. Once the Palace Master heard this, he immediately began to mull over it and both his eyes began to shine with some excitement. This was certainly not in violation of the rules, there was still only 1 merit-transferring disciple as before. But even some of the Pekai layer disciples guiding their fellow disciples of the same attribute would be of great assistance compared to the disciples fumbling on their own. As for these Pekai layer disciples, a second-grade foundation stage pill would greatly improve their chances of reaching foundation stage, satisfying both sides. Good. Good. Palace Master Zhang Jiao nodded his head. In reality, he hadn't expected to obtain a specific solution from Yang Chen when he had called him in this time. He had only sought the reason behind Yang Chen's superb guidance and see if it could be duplicated. But he hadn't in the least expected that Yang Chen would be able to find a method. However, Yang Chen heaved a sigh of regret inwardly. Secular world cultivators were so inflexible in comparison to those people of the heavenly court. Perhaps it was because of their wholehearted immersion into cultivation that they never thought of breaking the rules of the cultivation world. Unlike the secular cultivators, the officials of the heavenly court would first seek to see which rules and regulations needed changing in order to satisfy their requirements. Yang Chen, you have again rendered a great service. Palace Master Zhang Jiao's heart was filled with joy. This disciple, Yang Chen, always delivered such unexpected surprises, so how could Pure Yang Palace not rise? The sect traitor who had leaked the information about your master, it was Luminous Moon Hall Song Hang's disciple. Palace Master Zhang Jiao calmly told this to Yang Chen. He had already admitted his guilt and no other person was involved. You can deal with him as you see fit. As for the authority to punish him, he had handed it over to Yang Chen. Kill. Without the slightest hesitation, Yang Chen condemned him to death. Leaking his master's weak point and putting her in danger, what else could enrage Yang Chen more? For him, such a person was an enemy who had to be killed. This judgment also decided that person's fate. Since Palace Master Zhang Jiao had allowed Yang Chen to handle the punishment, it counted as a small reward and absolutely couldn't go against his wishes. Also, it was only natural to kill a traitor who would dare speak up against it. Even his own master Song Hang couldn't do anything. Initially, Palace Master Zhang Jiao had intended to ask Yang Chen about Song Hang's bottleneck. It had already been several years since Song Hang had tried to embarrass Yang Chen while he was the substitute hallmaster of Luminous Moon Hall. His hatred may have abated by then, but with this, the palace master was no longer in a position to ask. Perhaps he already knew what his reply would be, so it was better to save himself the embarrassment of asking. Hearing Yang Chen's reply, Palace Master Zhang Jiao also sighed in his heart. It seemed the matter between Yang Chen and Luminous Moon Hall could not be resolved peacefully. People of Luminous Moon Hall had repeatedly tried to provoke Yang Chen. From Chu Hang to Liang Shaming, then Song Hang and now his disciple, their repeated actions had also begun to make Palace Master Zhang Jiao extremely resentful. If that one disciple hadn't taken all the blame this time and the law enforcement hall had implicated more people of Luminous Moon Hall, the Palace Master could have used this chance to clean the Luminous Moon Hall thoroughly. It could only be said that this time, Luminous Moon Hall's luck was very good. Compared to Yang Chen, who had been continually battling to gain benefits for the sect, these Luminous Hall people had simply been biting the hand that fed them. This kind of behavior had already infuriated the Palace Master. If they tried anything to provoke him again, he certainly wouldn't let Luminous Moon Hall off easily. Besides these brief interludes of conversation, all that remained was many months of waiting before the people of Beast Taming Sect finally collected all the ingredients and delivered them to Yang Chen. Yet those months were not put to waste, as Yang Chen frequently met with Zhu Chentao to discuss the ingredients, pill recipe, and the sequence of the entire process from the beginning to end. For the sake of Yang Chen's face, Zhu Chentao also approved Hou Yan as the assistant for the two people during pill refining. This point made Hou Yan almost jump up and down due to excitement. Even though she had already reached foundation stage, she still hadn't reached the level of maintaining a serene heart. The person who had come to deliver the ingredients was Fan Shan. After putting all the items one by one in front of them, Fan Shan finally took out a jade bottle with a serious expression. Even while delivering it to Yang Chen, he was still reluctant to part with it. Younger brother, this is the powder shaved from Senior Black Tiger's inner Dan, in accordance with your request. Fan Shan continued with almost a begging tone. While scraping this powder, Senior Black Tiger was in unbearable pain and even his cultivation has dropped the equivalent of several decades. Younger brother, you must succeed at all costs. Be relieved, elder brother, I am well aware of the situation. Naturally, Yang Chen knew how painful it was to forcefully shave a demon beast's Dan, but there was no other option. He had to add the elixir made of the inner Dan's powder to make the pill the most compatible with Senior Black Tiger and heal him perfectly. Under Fan Shan's expectant gaze, Yang Chen, Zhu Chentao and Holing entered the first 5-year period of seclusion. During this period, the two of them wanted to refine an elixir which could stabilize the internal condition of Senior Black Tiger so that it doesn't worsen more. The rest of the time would be spent refining the rest of the ingredients properly. During the next period of 10 years, they intended to refine the elixir which could treat the condition of the injury. As for the period, the time for this refining was longer compared to time it took to refine Heaven Seizing Pill. That wasn't entirely strange since, back when refining the Heaven Seizing Pill, there were 3 Yuning stage pill concocting masters working with the assistance of Elder Wu himself and Fan Shan. Currently, however, there was only the initial foundation stage cultivator Yang Chen and peak Jidan stage cultivator Zhu Chentao, so the time taken would naturally be different. On Yang Chen's request, the old tree demon had sealed Yang Chen's small courtyard.
As long as Pure Yang Palace doesn't face a situation comparable to sect extermination or Gao Yu isn't in any mortal danger, Yang Chen would not be bothered by anyone. According to Yang Chen's memory, no major events happened during this period and each sect just steadily increased their strength. Uncle Master, I will first purify the ingredients once and then Uncle Master can take a look. Yang Chen once again confirmed the refining process with Zhu Chentao and Holin and began to purify them with his geocentric flame. The difficulty of concocting the elixir that could stabilize the injury wasn't very high, but it still required Yang Chen to use his unique technique at some crucial points. During the early stages, Zhu Chentao would be responsible for conducting the refining according to Yang Chen's directions. At the latter stages, Zhu Chentao's proficiency for controlling flame was insufficient and Yang Chen would take over. As for Holin, she was responsible for delivering the ingredients. Her main role was to learn from the concocting process. Zhu Chentao was extremely focused. This was his first time participating in refining an elixir to be used by a Dacheng stage expert, let alone acting as the main pill concocting master. Yang Chen would only lend assistance during the most crucial of times. In other words, it can be said that 99% of this elixir would be refined by Zhu Chentao. If the refining of this elixir was unsuccessful, both Zhu Chentao, the principal pill concocting master, and Holin would be lambasted as the ones responsible for ruining Yang Chen's reputation as a famous pill concocting master, which he had carefully built from that time of refining the heaven-seizing pill. So both of them were extremely cautious with this opportunity, acting as if they were facing the biggest hurdle of their lives. Under the dual force of the geocentric flame and the present grade profound spirit furnace, along with Yang Chen's extremely proficient control over fire, it only took a couple of days to completely purify all the ingredients, bringing their medicinal quality to the peak. It was only waiting for Zhu Chentao to open his furnace and begin refining. 1 year's time was already enough for Zhu Chentao to become proficient in using He Lianyan's pill concocting furnace. As the furnace was started, Holin started to bring the ingredients one by one according to the plan. Zhu Chentao took a deep breath and looked at Yang Chen with seriousness. After seeing Yang Chen nod, he began to add the ingredients one by one to the furnace. Being cautious, Zhu Chentao even started using the trick Yang Chen had used when he was still a Kai layer disciple and caught the furnace by its handles with both hands for the first stage of refining. Looking at Zhu Chentao slowly stabilize his flame control and begin refining, Yang Chen took out his profound spirit furnace and began to absorb the refined flames. As during the time while refining heaven-seizing pill, Zhu Chentao and Holin were carefully refining while Yang Chen was busy with his cultivation. This time, Yang Chen's plan was to absorb the profound wood flame, green phosphorus flame, cold ice flame, and fuse all of them together. The brunt of the work would be undertaken by the profound wood flame. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 194 Finally again a fire-attributed cultivator. Presently, Yang Chen was trying to cultivate all 10 attributes together. Right then, all were at the third layer of foundation stage. However, for other people, it was very strange. Yang Chen was a fire attribute, but he could still cultivate other attributes. Since his cultivation was low right now, other people didn't care, but when his cultivation rose higher, other people would certainly start raising questions. In terms of spirit power quality, 5th Earth spirit power was the most formidable at the moment. Using true 5th Earth secrets as a cultivation method and 5th Earth true Kai as a spirit power, the one considered nearest to origin 5th Earth. Next was 1st Wood spirit power and 2nd Wood spirit power, one was the Penglai divine wood spirit power, while the other was Blood Phantom Vine spirit power. Following it was 4th attribute spirit power, which was the geocentric flame spirit power. Compared to 4th attribute spirit power, 3rd attribute spirit power was slightly weaker. Even though the 3rd fire spirit power had undergone tempering by real sun fire and Nanming fire and had been purified, neither of them could be absorbed at present, so it was much weaker. As for the other spirit powers, they were all ordinary and didn't have any special features and constituted the last grade of spirit powers. Presently, Yang Chen could make use of the flames at the grade of the profound wood flame. Absorbing the profound wood flame would allow his 3rd fire spirit power's grade to rise a little, allowing it to achieve equilibrium with the 4th fire spirit power. The method was similar to absorbing the geocentric flame, where he would absorb a trace of the flame using the 3rd fire spirit power to absorb and transform it. The process was very simple and uninteresting, it only required Yang Chen to be able to endure the pain of self-immolation during the flame purification and absorption process. For Yang Chen, who had already absorbed the geocentric flame as well the real sun fire in his previous life and had also endured over 10,000 years of suffering, this was nothing. The only thing he had to pay attention to was avoiding a backlash from absorbing too many flames. Lin was amazed as she saw Yang Chen immersed in that sort of cultivation state right in front of her. Her amazement was only compounded when she looked over to see Zhu Chentao holding both handles of profound spirit furnace, doing something she couldn't understand. What was more strange was that there was nothing inside the profound spirit furnace, it made her all the more amazed. However, despite not understanding what was going on, Lin didn't make any careless moves. On the contrary, her actions became more deliberate and cautious, moving to the area between Yang Chen and Zhu Chentao between their pill-concocting furnaces. In case some accident happened while Zhu Chentao was concocting, Lin could substitute for Yang Chen to reduce the harm. Zhu Chentao continued refining the ingredients meticulously, following the predetermined plan. Of the multitude of ingredients, Yang Chen had already explained clearly which one to add when, what sort of temperature should be maintained, and how to control the flames. Zhu Chentao also remembered everything clearly. Due to a combination of excitement and nervousness, Zhu Chentao entered a profound state. Apart from the pill-concocting furnace in his hands, he couldn't see anything. Perhaps, even more strictly speaking, apart from the ingredients being refined in the furnace, he was unaware of anything around him and was wholeheartedly working on the process as discussed with Yang Chen without any mistakes. Looking between Zhu Chentao's expression and Yang Chen's, Lin suddenly comprehended something. She may not be gifted with talents like Yang Chen, but if she could learn Hallmaster Zhu Chentao's temperament of not letting himself distracted, whether in cultivation or pill concocting, this attitude will be very good for her. Traces of profound wood flame entered Yang Chen's body one by one until it had sufficiently accumulated. At that time, third fire spirit power rumbled loudly and began to ignite. The fierce burning made Yang Chen's meridian ache as the third fire spirit power soon seemed to have completely exhausted itself. Yang Chen knew that this was the profound wood flame assimilating and compressing into his own spirit power. The familiar pain drilled through his body as an endless stream of energy came from the profound wood flame. Finally, the entirety of his third fire spirit power had transformed. Yang Chen quickly swallowed the profound yang fruit which he had kept in his mouth earlier. Back in those days, the amount of spirit power in one of them was enough for Yang Chen for a couple of days, was now barely enough to recover his spirit power. After being tempered, the spirit power transformation was even more fluid. After a few cycles of absorption and transformation, Yang Chen's third fire spirit power successfully transformed to profound wood flame spirit power. Bang! After the whole process was completed, Yang Chen once again entered his spirit sea. It had changed once more. Above the Penglai Divine Wood's tree trunk appeared many ring-size flames. The raging flames were burning fiercely and rose very high, but it didn't seem to be harming the trees in any way. The range of Spirit Sea once again began to expand, only this time the range of expansion was not very large, stopping after only expanding 20%. His Spirit Sea was now nearly as large as it was before he had healed Gao Yu. His spiritual awareness had increased again, but had stayed within the boundary of Zhedan, reaching peak Zhedan stage. If it increased any more than now, it would make its way into initial Yuning stage. Now that the third fire spirit power had completely transformed into profound wood flame, it had also upgraded the third spirit power. Yang Chen again ate a profound yang fruit to recover his spirit power and was pleasantly surprised to discover that his third fire spirit power had reached the fourth layer of foundation stage and entered mid-foundation stage. Opening his eyes, Yang Chen was slightly distracted to find Lin staring intently at him. But seeing Lin in protective mode made him extremely satisfied at her performance so far. A soft query to Lin, and he was aware that 4 months had passed. Yang Chen walked to Zhu Chentao's side and began to examine the refining situation. Zhu Chentao didn't seem to pay any attention to Yang Chen and was wholeheartedly concentrated on the pill-concocting furnace within his hand. Looking at his situation, it seemed that he had been persisting for these entire 4 months. Seeing this, Yang Chen couldn't help but admire him more and more, thinking that choosing Zhu Chentao for this pill concocting was correct. There hadn't been the slightest bit of mistake in pill refining until now. If he continued at this rate, within only 3 more years, Zhu Chentao can successfully refine all the ingredients and deliver them to Yang Chen to work on. There was still plenty of time left, so Yang Chen once again sat down cross-legged. After exhorting Lin to be careful in tending to the two of them, he again took out the profound spirit furnace. This time, Yang Chen had intended to absorb the green phosphorus flame. Green phosphorus flame was 4th fire attributed and was the same grade as geocentric flame. For Yang Chen, this also wasn't anything difficult and only required some patience and time. Everything was going according to Yang Chen's plan, including the absorption of these flames. During this pill concocting period, Yang Chen was aiming to make people recognize that he only had a fire spirit root and was fire attributed cultivator, not a mix-up. Absorbing and refining the green phosphorus flame was not difficult, the only difficulty lay in fusing the geocentric flame and the green phosphorus flame. However, Yang Chen's present goal was not fusion, but rather absorption. All the other things come after that. After 4 months, Yang Chen had again completed the absorption and refining process. The fourth fire spirit power within his body had completely changed into 2 types. Among the spirit power flowing within 108 paths, half belonged to geocentric flame spirit power, while another half belonged to green phosphorus flame. Absorbing the flame made Yang Chen's spirit power rise again, as fourth fire spirit power directly broke through the third layer of foundation stage and entered fourth layer. The largest transformation still happened within the Spirit Sea. The Spirit Sea had again expanded this time and had finally reached the size it had been before Yang Chen and Gao Yu's dual cultivation. A ball of flickering light appeared within the sky. It didn't resemble flame at all, but Yang Chen knew this was green phosphorus flame's truest and simplest form. His spiritual awareness, which had already reached the peak, finally broke through and entered initial wielding stage with seemingly unstoppable force. Only this time, his spiritual awareness was even more compact and seemed to be of higher quality. At this moment, within Yang Chen's body, only third and fourth fire spirit power had reached fourth layer. Although the other spirit powers had broken through too, but they had stopped at the third layer's peak without upgrading any further. After resting for a little bit and examining Zhu Chentao's situation again, Yang Chen sat down cross-legged and began to absorb cold ice flame. Under Ho Lin's gaze, with these 8 short months of cultivation, Yang Chen's body began to emit a dense fire energy. If it is said that previously she couldn't sense any particular attribute strongly from Yang Chen, it was clear now that Yang Chen was a cultivator with a fire-attributed spirit root. The presence of fire was growing more and more vigorously, but the strange thing was that while emitting that sensation of flames raging vigorously, he was also simultaneously emitting the shady sensation of phosphorescence. It was extremely strange. Ho Lin had recently reached foundation stage not too long ago and still hadn't accepted any master. At most, she was consolidating her realm under Yang Chen's guidance, so naturally she didn't realize what was happening. But very quickly, Ho Lin discovered after 4 months that Yang Chen's body had begun to radiate an ice-cold sensation that felt like it could freeze bone to the marrow. This sensation was extremely strange. It was clearly flame, but anyone who could sense it also felt an impression of deep cold. By this time, Ho Lin finally remembered that fire-attributed cultivators can absorb some different flames, so in all likelihood, this was some kind of ice-attributed flame. Cold ice flame, geocentric flame and green phosphorus flame were all of similar grade, but compared to geocentric flame and green phosphorus flame, cold ice flame was slightly more difficult to absorb. For better or worse, geocentric flame and the green phosphorus flame both had high temperatures, but the cold ice flame had a temperature below freezing. Yang Chen had already prepared for this long ago. With 3 flames as a foundation, he began to steadily and surely absorb traces of cold ice flame into his meridians. Soon enough, fourth fire spirit power's 108 paths were evenly divided, every 36 spirit power threads, between the 3 flames. Absorption of the cold ice flame once again led to upgrade of fourth fire spirit power. This time, the fourth fire spirit power broke through fourth layer and entered fifth layer. In his past life, when Yang Chen reached foundation stage, it had taken him 15 years to reach third layer. But in this life, over the course of a single year, his fourth fire spirit power had jumped 2 layers and his third fire spirit power by 1. Overall, his fire attribute spirit power had entered mid-foundation stage. The Spirit Sea had expanded once again, reaching 115 mu. Around the roots of the Penglai Divine Wood and Blood Phantom Vine, many large ball-shaped flames had appeared, extremely pure and transparent, like everything touched by it would freeze over. Spiritual awareness had again upgraded, reaching the peak of initial Yuning stage. With the slightest increase, it would be able to break through. From the outside, at present, Yang Chen's body was radiating signs of the fire attribute, especially fourth fire spirit power which had the highest cultivation. Zhu Chentao's refining had also proceeded without the slightest mishap. He was single-mindedly concentrated on refining without slowing down even a little bit. Within the time of 1 year during which Yang Chen had absorbed 3 flames, relying on his astonishing willpower, Zhu Chentao had continued to persist with the refining. Ho Lin also discharged her duties as helper earnestly, aptly bringing the ingredients Zhu Chentao needed, whether it was feeding him Yang Kai pills or Yuan cultivation pills, allowing Zhu Chentao to maintain sufficient spirit power. Yang Chen didn't dare to give profound yang fruits to Zhu Chentao, that kind of high-grade supplement would have no greater benefit, only distracting him and making him feel regretted using such a high-grade supplement. At this rate, this refining would still require 2 more years. Only then Yang Chen would take the stage. Currently everything was moving according to the plan. Keeping to his own schedule, Yang Chen once again sat down and began to fuse green phosphorus flame and cold ice flame within his body.
For the time being, he wouldn't be fusing the geocentric flame, he still required it to raise the grade of refining. The process of fusing flames was again a process which would again increase his spirit power, allow the fire attribute within his body to rise in quality, and also imply that Yang Chen's fire-attributed cultivation had become even more formidable. Compared to refining, fusing the flames was even more difficult, but fortunately, the grade of flames was not very high, reducing the difficulty. Moreover, for Yang Chen, it was only a matter of time and patience. For the next 2 years, the 4th fire spirit power paths in Yang Chen's body where green phosphorus flame and cold ice flame were flowing, incessantly touched, fused and separated in a continuous cycle. But in the final 2 months, they began to genuinely fuse together without any distinction. Ho-Lin had already become accustomed to the unusual changes in Yang Chen's body. At the same time, she had also understood that his spirit power had increased greatly within a small period. Although, she didn't know how to react to this. In a short 3 years, Yang Chen's cultivation seemed to have increased by yet another layer, finally breaking through to 5th layer, at the point of entering late foundation stage. This time's upgrade was naturally because of fusion of the flames. 4th fire spirit power had again upgraded, and Yang Chen's body was clearly emitting the presence of fire-attributed spirit power. But this time spirit power upgrade didn't lead to increase in spirit sea's area nor spiritual awareness. The true form of those flames in the spirit sea hadn't fused and were still present. The fire-attributed spirit power seemed to be outstanding compared to other attribute spirit power. Regardless of whether it was 3rd fire or 4th fire, both had surpassed the other attributes, so the spirit power of other attributes wasn't that eye-catching. At this stage, Yang Chen finally could confidently declare to anyone that he was a fire-attributed cultivator with a fire spirit root. Moreover, the best way to increase one's fire-attributed cultivation was to absorb and fuse all kind of flames. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 195 Awe-inspiring pill concocting technique. Not everyone can successfully fuse different types of flames. Before one's cultivation had reached a certain stage, it was a dream within a dream. Pure flames had the benefits of pure flames. The fire's quality was high, and controlling it was a matter of ease. Furthermore, it would not become chaotic. But its weak points were correspondingly clear. The strength of pure flames were not constant and depended on the cultivation of the cultivator. Moreover, if someone has only one kind of flame then it may not be usable under certain circumstances. Furthermore, controlling fused flames was exceedingly difficult and required a formidable spiritual awareness. If Yang Chen was the slightest bit careless, he could entirely lose control. But fused flames did have a qualitative increase in strength as well as caused an increase in the quality of spirit power. In his previous life, Yang Chen only had the real sun fire. He didn't have many other opportunities to collect flames either, since he was constantly hunted. But even if he had had the fortune of obtaining other flames, he didn't have the knowledge, experience or control to fuse them. Only when one had a deep understanding of different flames would one obtain the ability to fuse flames. By the time he had ascended to heaven, he was already a prisoner, so he didn't have any opportunities. But in this life, Yang Chen had the opportunity to discuss methods of controlling fire with experts and learned how to fuse flames. The fusion ended at the perfect time, only 2 months after Zhu Chentao had finished. These 2 months, while cultivating, Yang Chen had also been guiding Zhu Chentao and Ho-Lin on the principles of control and manipulating fire. It was not that Yang Chen didn't want to share this knowledge and purposely didn't guide Zhu Chentao earlier, but because Zhu Chentao could only understand now that he had completed 3 years of continuous refining. On the other hand, Ho-Lin couldn't understand most of the principles. Nothing could be done about that, her realm was too low, her perception a little below par, and her experience with pill concocting inadequate. Thus, not understanding was completely normal. 2 months passed like the wind as Zhu Chentao's work neared completion. All of the ingredients had been refined and mixed properly, nearing the 2nd stage of this concocting. This elixir originally didn't have any name because Yang Chen had prescribed the ingredients according to Senior Black Tiger's exact condition of injury. However, for Zhu Chentao and Ho-Lin, this time's refining had great meaning, so it absolutely had to have a name. After a slight discussion between the two, according to Zhu Chentao's opinion, this time's injury stabilizing pill was called the Black Tiger Suppressing Elixir, and the injury restoring pill was called the Black Tiger Spirit Supporting Pill. The Black Tiger Suppressing Elixir still required one more step before completion, but that single step was a gulf Zhu Chentao couldn't cross. It was almost laughable, Pure Yang Palace's medicine hall master, a cultivator with a Jidan cultivation, unexpectedly couldn't best a foundation stage junior's prowess. But this face, even Zhu Chentao was well aware of when to step aside.
The initially refined medicinal liquid was wrapped by Zhu Chentao's spirit power and softly deposited within Yang Chen's profound spirit furnace. At this moment, no pill-concocting furnace in the mortal world could compare to the profound spirit furnace, so changing furnaces was entirely appropriate. Now it was out of Zhu Chentao and Ho Lin's hands, the rest was up to Yang Chen. Both of them slightly backed away, eyes glued to Yang Chen's technique in an attempt to learn something from his refining technique. Inside the profound spirit furnace, different flames drew patterns on the furnace walls. Of all the high-grade flames within, the geocentric flame, the profound wood flame, green phosphorus flame, cold ice fire, real moon fire, Nanming fire, and real sun fire, Yang Chen didn't choose the flame most appropriate for pill concocting, the geocentric flame, to bear the brunt of the world. But rather the real sun fire. It was the flame that Yang Chen was the most familiar with, having more than 10,000 years of experience in his previous life. He knew everything about it, so even if he hadn't absorbed it, he could already utilize it to the point of perfection. If it was just this, it wouldn't have made Zhu Chentao gasp in amazement. It wasn't like Zhu Chentao hadn't had the opportunity to obtain high-grade flames, it was that his cultivation was too low to have any effect in controlling flames. What stunned Zhu Chentao and Ho Lin speechless was what Yang Chen was doing with his other hand. His one hand was controlling real sun fire, but the other was doing something absolutely astonishing. Water-attributed spirit power, precisely speaking ninth water-attributed spirit power, was controlling the medicinal liquid as fluidly as water. Under the control of Yang Chen's ninth water spirit power, the medicinal liquid was spreading to form a complex formation within the profound spirit furnace. Both Zhu Chentao and Ho Lin weren't familiar with the spell formation, but when the spell formation was unleashed and directly controlled the strength of surrounding flames, this scene completely absorbed their attention. Yang Chen had only revealed this trick once before, when refining the heaven-seizing pill, so how could Zhu Chentao and Ho Lin even imagine such a method of pill refining? Yang Chen wasn't done yet. When the spirit formation made of medicinal liquid was laid down, Yang Chen used his other hand to manipulate the real sun fire to form another spell formation. However, even made of flames, it gave of a sensation, as if the power of fire had been replaced with water-attributed spirit power. Water power-based pill concocting. Ho Lin and Zhu Chentao almost lost consciousness. It wasn't like a water method of pill concocting didn't exist, but only some unique pill concocting masters used it in some unique elixirs. But presently Yang Chen was clearly controlling fire, but was using water-attributed spirit power to concoct pills. This was already outside the horizons of cultivators, who could even do this? Apart from astonishment and admiration, Zhu Chentao and Ho Lin couldn't think of any words to describe their mental state at this time. Was this still pill concocting? It really wasn't a performance. Only, soon Zhu Chentao grew worried. If he was using this kind of method and the flame was being controlled like water spirit power, the real sun fire's formidable strength might burn all these ingredients. But this was Yang Chen, if he had taken this into account, wouldn't it be rude to interrupt? But the next surprise made Zhu Chentao snap his mouth shut. A cyan-colored cold flame, the cold ice fire, began to flicker within the profound spirit furnace, wrapping itself around the medicinal liquid. The presence of this icy flame brought the temperature of the furnace to normal, and the medicinal liquid also began to smoothly accept the next phase of refining. The two spells seemed to have a complementary effect, bringing out the best in fire and water spirit powers. The medicinal liquid within profound spirit furnace quickly began to change. Fortunately, the situation turned out to be even better than I expected. While concocting, Yang Chen didn't forget to speak what he was thinking. This action scared Zhu Chentao almost to death, and he almost couldn't help himself from jumping over to cover Yang Chen's mouth. Fortunately, he was able to control himself and didn't do anything rude and impetuous. You should not speak for a little bit so you don't scare the life out of me. Even if Zhu Chentao was Yang Chen's elder, at this moment he clearly was a student. Without any aids, a single person was using two types of flames, one of which producing a spell to release water-attributed spirit power and another to evenly cool down the medicinal liquid, while still using water-attributed spirit power to manipulate the medicinal liquid to form a spiritual formation to absorb spirit power. Seeing this, Zhu Chentao's face was completely turned to stone, he was at a loss to describe what he was feeling. Even if Zhu Chentao told this situation to someone, who would believe him? Until he had seen Yang Chen do it in front of him, even Zhu Chentao wouldn't have believed it. If someone had dared to describe this to him, Zhu Chentao would have slapped him without a second thought and asked him what kind of dream he was in to speak such rubbish. The situation before his eyes had completely toppled all the knowledge Zhu Chentao had learned. Ho Lin was still a bit fortunate. She had just recently become an official disciple and still didn't have any deep-seated beliefs. But Zhu Chentao had been concocting for several hundred years and his brain was already packed with traditional concocting methods. Yang Chen's performance had simply placed Zhu Chentao at a loss of what to do. Was this still pill concocting? Didn't pill concocting include procedures like refining and mixing ingredients controlling fire? What kind of relationship does it have with spell formations? Moreover, using both fire and water to concoct pills at the same time, what was this sorcery? Without caring for whether it was unfathomable or unbelievable for Zhu Chentao, Yang Chen steadily carried out the refining in the profound spirit furnace and smoothly advanced through the last stage of Black Tiger suppressing elixir. Originally, Yang Chen had planned to use common pill concocting techniques to refine the elixir in 2 years after Zhu Chentao had completed the initial 3-year stage of ingredient refining. But after absorbing the cold ice fire and seeing the crazy upgrades of the profound spirit furnace, Yang Chen could only resort to such a method to drastically accelerate the refining process. Using this method, the originally required 2 years could be cut down to 1 year. That would allow Senior Black Tiger's condition to stabilize 1 year earlier. Which in turn would allow the people of Beast Taming Sect to have some assurance 1 year earlier, which would have significant impact on both sides' cooperation. While pill concocting, Yang Chen was also explaining some of the principles of pill refining and fire control being used by him, then to Zhu Chentao and Holin. Although neither of them could grasp the whole thing immediately, it would still open their eyes to a larger world, letting them know that there was still a long road ahead of them on the path of pill concocting. Not to speak of other things, but the last time Zhu Chentao had seen Yang Chen use fire to imitate living beings, he had touched upon a vague insight, but this time, Yang Chen's words caused him to have a flash of enlightenment. Only then did he realize that compared to what was happening in front of him, even entering Yuning stage wasn't impossible. For Pure Yang Palace, a Yuning stage expert certainly held great importance. But if they also had a Yuning stage pill concocting expert, then they would be a half step closer to becoming a first-rate sect. But the benefits didn't stop there. No one would dare offend a pill concocting master, especially a Yuning stage pill concocting master. Even Dacheng stage experts would tread carefully around them. Didn't Elder Wu, on the verge of ascending, need the assistance of 3 Yuning stage pill concocting masters to refine a heaven-seizing pill? Yuning stage expert Deng Yi, although she belonged to a minor school, the Heavenly Lake School, no one dared casually offend them. Even He Lianyan was a powerful figure in earlier days. If his realm hadn't fallen, he wouldn't have died so easily. Although Zhu Chentao was obsessed with pill concocting, he wasn't an idiot. He naturally understood Yang Chen's intention. He didn't dare distract Yang Chen and intently watched his technique, fearing to miss even the slightest thing. He was even more focused now than he had been before when he was refining ingredients. Maybe this time even the slightest change in spirit power could allow him to gain enlightenment. Just as Yang Chen had anticipated, after absorbing the cold ice fire, this kind of method of using water and fire in tandem like yin and yang aiding each other really increased the efficiency of refining. In a little more than a year, his control of temperature had already reached perfection. After calling Holin and Zhu Chentao to pay attention, Yang Chen began to receive the pill. His pill receiving technique was different from ordinary methods, it was rather a technique written within the Great Elder's pill scripture. The more superior a technique was, the more profound it was. However, Zhu Chentao and Holin were unable to make any sense of his pill receiving technique, rather just seeing the flame transform so nimbly at just the moment of pill receiving endlessly shocked the both of them, leaving them watching in rapt attention. Under Yang Chen's control, the flame slowly began to die down and the medicinal liquid began to slowly fuse together to form a rough sphere, just like a low-grade elixir. Soon, this rough elixir began to smoothen out, turning into a proper sphere and emitting a sweet fragrance. At this stage, Zhu Chentao's nervous heart began to calm down. Looking at the real sun fire and cold ice fire slowly fade away, this Black Tiger suppressing elixir was finally completed. Just when they were thinking that, the profound spirit furnace suddenly emitted a trace of flame, the Nanming fire. This mild-seeming flame wrapped itself around the pill form of the elixir instantly, the dark green pill bursting into flame. Ah! Zhu Chentao screamed loudly. Just when the pill had been successfully completed, how could Yang Chen make a mistake like this? These 4 years of hard work had been completely ruined. Just as he was about to extend his hand and snatch the burning elixir, Zhu Chentao was suddenly pulled back by Holin. When he took a hold of his senses again to take a look, he saw an extraordinarily serious look on Yang Chen's face. His eyes were fixed on the elixir, his entire being focused on the furnace. When he was controlling 2 flames and medicinal liquid at the same time, he had the leisure to explain everything he was doing, so why wasn't he speaking now? Zhu Chentao immediately realized something was off, so he began to concentrate, no longer daring to utter another sound that could disturb Yang Chen. This time, the flame was burning without any pattern, it was just ordinary refining, but after a few seconds, Zhu Chentao understood everything. Yang Chen wasn't satisfied with the elixir and had unexpectedly advanced to second refining.
After realizing this point, Zhu Chentao again cried out in fear. This black tiger suppressing elixir was to be used by a Dacheng stage expert. Any elixir required by a Dacheng expert was far from comparable to ordinary elixirs. Surprisingly, Yang Chen wasn't even satisfied with this elixir and still wanted to refine it once more. This moment, even if he was a Jidan stage expert, even if he was the hall master of the medicine hall, Zhu Chentao couldn't help but admire Yang Chen. There was already no need to say anything more about Yang Chen's technique, but just this attitude of seeking perfection had already made Zhu Chentao admire him even more. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 196. Your time has come. Truly speaking, Yang Chen was certainly excited. He was controlling the profound spirit furnace, so he naturally knew that the black tiger suppressing elixir had been successfully refined. But this moment, he had spied an opportunity of good fortune, so he immediately summoned the Nanming fire to begin a second refining without hesitation. If he wanted to increase the level of his pill concocting, then only relying on his experience of 10,000 years of refining some low-grade elixirs was absolutely impossible. Only by charging forward to refine high-grade elixirs would improve his pill concocting. Since he wanted to establish himself as a pill concocting master in this life, and a high-grade pill concocting master at that, Yang Chen couldn't let any opportunity slip by. And in front of him was one of the most optimum opportunity. The black tiger suppressing elixir wasn't entirely crucial to the overall treatment plan. It was only meant to suppress the injury from worsening, a transitional elixir. Yang Chen had intentionally created this step to impress the difficulty of pill concocting onto the beast suppressing sect, so even if it failed, it wasn't a problem. Another important fact was that regardless of however unimportant this black tiger suppressing elixir was to the overall picture, it was still an elixir meant to be used by a Dacheng stage expert. The higher the grade of the pill, the greater the difficulty in refining it. There was no need to prove this, it could be seen clearly from Yang Chen using two types of flames, as well as both water and fire to complete the refining. Refining such a high-grade elixir to second grade was certainly an exceptionally good opportunity for Yang Chen to improve the level of his pill concocting. Within Great Elder's pill scripture, there were many records. Because of his cultivation, Yang Chen had selected the most suitable type of method for this type of refining. To Zhu Chentao, it seemed that he was just cultivating according to some set rules. Naturally, Zhu Chentao didn't understand the high-grade skills and techniques within this kind of seemingly ordinary refining which Yang Chen was doing, but this didn't stop Zhu Chentao from realizing that Yang Chen was advancing the refining to second grade. While being careful that neither himself nor Holin disturbed Yang Chen, Zhu Chentao was carefully observing Yang Chen's refining. But what again astonished Zhu Chentao was that he couldn't make any sense of what Yang Chen was doing. What was even more difficult to bear was that at this moment, Yang Chen was extremely focused and not in a position to answer any of the myriad questions he had. With his heart tense yet full of expectation for 2 months, Yang Chen's refining finally came to an end. With an exceptionally clean pill collecting technique, the flame wrapped around the pill flickered down to embers, leaving behind a crimson pill. Only, on the pill, there were 2 exceptionally clear pill marks. The mark of a second-grade pill was precisely the 2 pill marks. But since the pill marks were so clear, Zhu Chentao almost wanted to extend his eyes to his hand and put the second-grade black tiger suppressing elixir in his eyes. Holin was looking at that beautiful elixir with even more infatuation and was speechless for a long time. "I want to rest a little." Yang Chen only said these words and immediately sat down in a meditative posture and threw 2 profound yang fruits in his mouth, closing his eyes without saying anything. During the first refining, Yang Chen could still distract himself and explain things. During the second grade refining, the technique was seemingly ordinary, but Yang Chen was trained enough to be unable to say anything. In the previous year, he hadn't sensed any pressure, but the refining of last 2 months seemed to have utterly drained Yang Chen's entire strength. His spiritual awareness and spirit power had been consumed to the extreme, and astonishingly, his ability to recover his power had also been deeply affected. Once the profound yang fruit entered his stomach, as if a clean spring had begun to flow through a desert, it was completely absorbed in an instant. Fortunately, they were inside the second fierce yang courtyard. The spirit power in the underground vein was greatly sufficient, and with the spirit power of the profound yang fruits, Yang Chen soon thrummed with spirit power. However, recovering the spirit power was easy, but recovering his spiritual awareness wasn't so simple. So after half of his spirit power had been recovered, Yang Chen stopped cultivating spirit power and began to cultivate 3 purity secrets to restore his spiritual awareness. This was the first time that Yang Chen's spiritual awareness had been consumed completely after reaching foundation stage. Even though his spiritual awareness had already reached initial Yuning stage, it was still of no help. This clearly proved the difficulty of the second stage of refining.
However, apparently this was in accordance with the principles of cultivation. Despite being ferociously consumed with a formidable supplement from 3 purity secrets, the restored spirit power was seemingly more compact compared to before. After so much practice, maybe 3 purity secrets could really break through to the 4th layer. Naturally, that is something to be done later. For the time being, Yang Chen didn't have any extravagant hope of reaching the 4th layer. Right now, he had forcefully reached the 3rd layer by drawing on the power from beheading tens of thousands of immortals, as well as using the will of the Immortal Executioner's platform. That was already taking advantage of his tremendous luck. Yang Chen didn't think there was still a place in the secular world that would give the opportunity to behead so many like the Immortal Executioner's platform. Yang Chen rested for around 10 days. Within these 10 days, Zhu Chentao was unable to remain calm and was continuously tweaking his ears and scratching his cheeks. Yang Chen had surprisingly refined the Black Tiger suppressing elixir to 2nd grade. How could that not drive Zhu Chentao crazy with happiness? He had waited until Yang Chen had recovered with great difficulty, but as soon as Yang Chen awoke, he wasn't able to wait anymore. Facing the volley of questions, Yang Chen didn't know which he should reply to first. Yang Chen was even more embarrassed upon finding out that Zhu Chentao was unable to make head or tails of a few of his simplest techniques. His brow deeply furrowed, Zhu Chentao was completely engrossed in Yang Chen's words. Unfortunately, some of things were from Yang Chen's experience, while others he had learned from reading books. Zhu Chentao didn't have this experience and knowledge, so basically he didn't understand. Don't be hasty, Uncle Master. Finally Yang Chen could only force a bitter smile and remind Zhu Chentao. However, he didn't say much. If he said too much, Zhu Chentao will lose face. On the path of pill concocting, I am still far behind. Zhu Chentao himself realized and took a deep sigh. However, afterwards he vigorously stood up. It seems this old man would have to live a little bit longer to see more things. After he finished saying this, his eyes burned with an unprecedented seriousness. Zhu Chentao used to think that until he broke through Jidan's stage, it will be impossible for him to move forward on the path of pill concocting. After he had witnessed Yang Chen's fire control, desire had begun to rise once again within his heart. But after today, the conviction of victory has been genuinely established in him. This would prove to be a great advantage for him when he attempted his ascension to Yuanying stage. After delivering this elixir to the people of Beast Taming Sect, should we continue immediately? After setting a goal, Zhu Chentao was impatiently waiting to participate in the refining of the Black Tiger spirit supporting pill. He was already itching to once again observe Yang Chen's pill concocting techniques. Don't be hasty, Uncle Master Zhu. Yang Chen shook his head with a smile. Uncle Master, rest during this time. Take this time to comprehend everything you've learned. Disciple will have to refine this Black Tiger spirit supporting pill personally, since only Disciple has taken a look at Senior Black Tiger's injuries. Why is that? Zhu Chentao asked this, but before Yang Chen could reply he understood. For an elixir which is going to be used by a Dacheng stage expert, whatever the results were, the eventual responsibility would land on Yang Chen, who had suggested the pill recipe and refining method. As such, this time he couldn't just watch from the sides, otherwise the people of Beast Taming Sect will also not dare to make Senior Black Tiger take this elixir. Fine, you go to Beast Taming Sect, this old man will enter seclusion for 2 months. Zhu Chentao waved his hand and made his arrangements. Before leaving, he didn't forget to take Holin. You also come, I have looked at your fire controlling methods. Are you willing to become this old man's disciple? This was one of Holin's aims when entering pill concocting with Yang Chen. Hearing Zhu Chentao's words, Holin was simply pleased beyond expectation. Without any hesitation, she immediately tapped her head on the ground. Master, please accept disciple's salutations. Slow down. Slow down. Zhu Chentao's words pushed Holin's heart into the deepest abyss. Was there still some problem? Uncle Master. Yang Chen also couldn't help but speak up, not realizing Zhu Chentao's meaning. Humph, when you become a disciple, you have to become a glorious disciple of the medicine hall. Why should this old man's disciple simply kowtow? Zhu Chentao snorted, flung his sleeves and walked out of Yang Chen's small courtyard. Holin, follow your master. Good or bad, this old man is a hall master of the medicine hall, so there must be a grand ceremony. Holin was greatly overjoyed at the unexpected news and glanced at Yang Chen. She suddenly tapped her head on ground heavily towards Yang Chen and got up carefully, hastily following after Zhu Chentao and leaving Yang Chen's courtyard. After coming out of seclusion, Yang Chen's first target was naturally his master. Within short 4 years, Gao Yu's water-attributed cultivation had already entered the late stage of Kai layer, only a step away from reaching peak Kai layer. From beginning to end, it had only required 7 years to reach this stage. Although Yang Chen had offered great supplements in the form of profound yang fruits, it has to be said, Gao Yu really was extremely suitable for a water-attributed cultivation method. After realizing this point, Gao Yu's trust towards Yang Chen increased even more. Removing all doubts, she devoted herself to cultivation. Seeing Yang Chen come out of seclusion, she made her own inquiries about him. After hearing that Yang Chen had refined the second-grade black tiger suppressing elixir, she urged Yang Chen to make haste and deliver it to the people of beast-taming sect. Pan Shan was the representative connecting beast-taming sect and Pure Yang Palace. Just 2 months before Yang Chen's first stage of refining had ended, he had rushed over to Pure Yang Palace, fearing that Yang Chen may have come out of seclusion in advance and hoping to avoid delay. It seemed that Senior Black Tiger's injuries had again worsened. Second-grade elixir. Pan Shan was both surprised and excited at the same time. Yang Chen had put forward the second-grade Black Tiger suppressing elixir, so clearly the refining was a success. If this was true, wouldn't it mean that they would had greater assurance of controlling Senior Black Tiger's injuries from worsening? After looking at the pill, Fan Shan couldn't help himself and started urging. Walk faster, walk faster. Wait for some time, elder brother, let me make a report to Palace Master. Yang Chen smiled and urged Fan Shan to stay. Such a matter of great importance, how could he not inform Palace Master Zhang Jiao before leaving for beast-taming sect? Be relieved, Senior Black Tiger's injuries will certainly not worsen after taking this pill. With Yang Chen's assurance, Fan Shan was greatly relieved. After all the convoluted formalities had been rushed through, a few elders of Pure Yang Palace still had some questions, so only after that did Yang Chen depart with Fan Shan. Younger brother, wait here for older brother for a moment. After crossing Miking Mountain's market and coming out of Pure Yang Palace's territory, both of them had just flown for half a day and arrived at the edge of a great mountain when Fan Shan suddenly made Yang Chen stop. Older brother has to collect some spirit beasts. Some spirit beasts were specifically reared on this mountain cliff, and collecting them here would avoid wasting time later. Yang Chen also nodded, it would only take a moment for Fan Shan to capture the spirit beast, so waiting for a moment was no big deal. Fan Shan quickly disappeared. Being bored, Yang Chen found a big tree to sit atop. He was sitting on the top of the tree enjoying the view of the surroundings. But, in just a moment, he wrinkled his brows, spotting someone flying over on a flying sword from the other side. Borne by his spiritual awareness, his gaze flicked over. Within a few moments, Yang Chen discovered the identity of that person. What astonished Yang Chen was that the person coming over was someone he had previously crossed paths with. He had met Greatest Heaven Sex Jedan stage cultivator Cheng Wenkai for the first time when he tried to humiliate Yang Chen, which resulted in his realm falling. And for the second time during the time of great calamity of devil cultivation, where he had lost a bet to Yang Chen and Gao Yu about a kowtow. Cheng Wenkai also discovered Yang Chen's presence and turned his flying sword towards the region closer to Yang Chen. Floating under the clouds, he gazed at Yang Chen for a long moment before breaking out in a sneer. I was thinking who it was and it turned out to be you. So it was Senior Cheng. Yang Chen remained sitting on the treetop without any intention of standing up and smilingly asked. Senior, hurrying like this, where are you going? Youngster, this is a desolate area outside the city, what are you doing here? Naturally Cheng Wenkai didn't bother answering Yang Chen's question and menacingly asked. Whatever this youngster is doing here, isn't it unrelated to Senior? His smile unaffected, Yang Chen gazed into Cheng Wenkai's eyes, strongly tempted to punch his lights out. Attentively watching Yang Chen's face, Cheng Wenkai's spiritual awareness was quickly released. He also hadn't expected to run into Yang Chen. But since he had run into him, that could only be called Yang Chen's bad luck. Within this barren mountain, if there weren't other people, then it was an exceptionally good place to kill people. Youngster, don't say that I didn't give you any opportunity. Cheng Wenkai's spiritual awareness explored for a good moment and didn't find anyone in a 10-mile radius. An evil grin split his face as he said. Obediently kowtow and admit your errors towards me and this old man will let your death be easy. Kowtow. Admit mistakes. Easy death. Yang Chen couldn't help but expose a stunned expression, looking all around, seemingly only noticing that his fortune is not that good. You need not waste your breath making schemes. Cheng Wenkai looked at Yang Chen with contempt. This old man has already examined the surroundings and there is no one else beside us. Yang Chen, you do not walk on the road to heaven and neither does hell have a gate to burst into. You have humiliated this old man and I will extract my due 100, no, 1,000 times over. You dare to kill me? Yang Chen showed a seemingly panicked expression, as if he was intimidated. Yet, unexpectedly, he still hadn't stood up. The scenery is very enchanting here, but at the same time it is an exceptionally good place for burying corpses. Cheng Wenkai mischievously laughed, enjoying the panic on Yang Chen's face, as if drinking the finest wine.
After killing you, I will also kill that bitch master of yours at some other time. Daring to make this old man kowtow, humph, don't say this was unannounced, the time to pay for my humiliation had finally come. Seemingly, this really is a pretty good place for disposing a corpse. Hearing Cheng Wenkai speak about Gao Yu, Yang Chen's expression turned ice cold. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 197 Suspicious Cheng Wenkai. When Cheng Wenkai had identified Yang Chen, this Jidan stage expert of Greatest Heaven sect didn't have any clue of what's going on. How could he have imagined that in this region where there were apparently no signs of human habitation, how could the person who he wanted to kill be so nonchalant? From beginning to end, Yang Chen had remained seated on top of the tree without even changing his posture. When Cheng Wenkai's spiritual awareness was probing all sides, Yang Chen's formidable spiritual awareness had also probed this area, and Fan Shan had already returned to the side. Even though he was only at foundation stage, Yang Chen was curing Senior Black Tiger, moreover was also personally escorting the Black Tiger suppressing elixir with him to Beast Taming Sect to stabilize the injury of Senior Black Tiger. How could Fan Shan let Cheng Wenkai injure Yang Chen so easily? Fan Shan had established the relationship of a brother with Yang Chen with great difficulty, how could he let Cheng Wenkai destroy it so easily? Cheng Wenkai and Yang Chen's relationship was something which everyone knew. Since Cheng Wenkai had to kneel down and kowtow towards Yang Chen and Gao Yu in front of that many experts and had to face utter shame and humiliation, attacking Yang Chen here was inevitable. Unfortunately, Cheng Wenkai's luck was not very good encountering Fan Shan here. Even if disregarding Yang Chen's relationship with Senior Black Tiger, the choice between an old Jidan stage cultivator who had already dropped a realm once and had no future prospects and a foundation stage disciple bursting with potential who was also a high-grade pill concocting master was obvious. Even if it meant offending Greatest Heaven sect, Fan Shan wouldn't care. Moreover, just a moment ago, Cheng Wenkai himself had said that within these mountain woods where any signs of humans were rare, even a murder would go unnoticed. Although Yang Chen was watching, why would Yang Chen speak up? At their first meeting, before Cheng Wenkai could see clearly who was behind him, he was cleanly knocked down by Fan Shan without any mishaps. I am very curious, Senior Cheng. Yang Chen jumped down from the tree and slowly walked over to Cheng Wenkai's side. He stopped in front of him, crouching in front of him and looking at his battered and exhausted old face. Without a change in tone, he asked seriously. What exactly are you doing in this desolate area? Despicable. Cheng Wenkai almost bawled. The situation had turned on its head so quickly from a position where he was sure he could kill Yang Chen. How could he still restrain his temper? What was even more infuriating was that he had no idea who had attacked him from behind. Despicable or not, this does not matter for you now. Yang Chen said, beaming. Instead of recuperating at the Greatest Heaven sect, Senior has come here, it is indeed queer. Casually guessing the direction where Cheng Wenkai was rushing over to, Yang Chen made a guess and grimly laughed. Senior Cheng, being so hasty, were you heading towards Myking Mountain? Would you happen to have some business with Pure Yang Palace? While those words were spoken, Yang Chen noticed Cheng Wenkai's eyes begin to roll. Doubts grew in his heart. Originally, he just wanted to spout some hypotheticals and kill him, but it seemed there was more to investigate here. Without any hesitation, he directly sealed Cheng Wenkai's senses and threw him into the medicine garden. For the time being, Yang Chen was not in a position to deal with him. Senior Black Tiger's condition came first, everything else could come later. From the start, Fan Shan hadn't appeared in Cheng Wenkai's view, and moreover, with one hit, he had sealed Cheng Wenkai's spirit power and spiritual awareness. Cheng Wenkai was never aware who had attacked him. Fan Shan didn't interfere seeing Yang Chen deal with Cheng Wenkai like this. He also agreed with Yang Chen's intention of immediately rushing over to Beast Taming Sect to deliver the pill to Senior Black Tiger. So both people continued on their journey towards Beast Taming Sect at Yangliang Mountain, as if nothing had happened. No one knew Cheng Wenkai had appeared here, and neither did anyone know that he had fallen into Yang Chen's hands. Not a single trace of battle existed. Let alone battle, there weren't even traces of people. Cheng Wenkai seemed to have disappeared from the face of earth without any trace. At the back mountain of the Beast Taming Sect's Yangliang Mountain, Yang Chen, Fan Shan and the Beast Taming Sect Master stopped in front of Senior Black Tiger's cave. He was still lazily lying on his stomach. At that moment, a red-colored pill was floating in front of Senior Black Tiger. This was the second-grade Black Tiger suppressing elixir refined by Yang Chen. Second-grade elixir. Seeing that elixir, apparently even Senior Black Tiger was also astonished. Not only Senior Black Tiger, in fact, anyone who saw this elixir was completely amazed. This was an elixir to be used by a Dacheng stage expert and unexpectedly had been refined to second grade. Everyone who laid eyes on this elixir looked at Yang Chen in a new light.
A pill concocting master who could refine a second-grade defying stage elixir was certainly someone who would be super popular among people. When Palace Master Zhang Jiao saw this elixir, his face broke into an heartfelt smile. Yang Chen was already this formidable, so once he reached Jidan's stage, he could very well reach the level of a 4th-grade pill concocting master. One had to remember, Yang Chen had refined 3rd-grade foundation stage pills more than 10 years ago, and now he could refine 2nd-grade defying stage elixirs. 4th-grade pills would be as easy as making pie. If he could then become a 4th-grade pill concocting master with the ability to refine 2nd-grade defying stage elixirs, even Deng Yi, who was considered the most formidable pill concocting master at the moment, would pale in comparison. From now on, no one would be dared to say that Pure Yang Palace doesn't have a pill concocting master. As for the people of Beast Taming Sect in Fan Shan, there was no need to say anything, their attitude could clearly seen from Fan Shan's actions. From not hesitating to attack Cheng Wenkai to apprehending him for Yang Chen, ready to deal with anyone for him, it was obvious how much they valued him. He feared that if he didn't do everything according to Yang Chen's intentions, he would ruin his good relation with an almost 4th-grade pill concocting master. That was an opportunity that can only be found by luck and not by searching. The pill hanging in the air in front of him was quickly swallowed by Senior Black Tiger. Initially, Senior Black Tiger had been deliberating for a while, but once the elixir had slipped down his throat, it was unexpectedly refreshing. After Black Tiger had swallowed the elixir, all 3 of them, including Yang Chen, began to tense up. Yang Chen was also slightly anxious. After all, this was a method he had heard about in the spiritual world but hadn't put into practice. If it failed, it would certainly make him lose face. Fortunately, he was certain that even if it failed, it wouldn't damage Senior Black Tiger. After swallowing the elixir, Black Tiger didn't seem to show any special signs. Even after a good while, not even the slightest change could be seen in the lazy appearance of Senior Black Tiger. What was going on? Fan Shan and the sect master of Beast Taming Sect both doubtfully looked over to Yang Chen's side. However, Yang Chen was deeply pondering, his brows furrowed, the result shouldn't be like this, should it? Suddenly, the Black Tiger who was lazily lying on the ground until now, let out a loud roar. Boo! That heaven-shaking howl, to the people nearby, was like their ear had suddenly exploded. Their heads rang, and their ears began to buzz. Black Tiger, who had been lying down until now, suddenly stood up. Just this one act immediately gave rise to a huge ripple in his spirit power. It was almost impossible to believe that this was the same Black Tiger who had been bedridden until now because of illness. Boo! With yet another earth-shattering howl, Senior Black Tiger suddenly extended his claws and swiped down. A mountain peak in front of the cave entrance shattered into dust and smoke with an explosive bang. Although everyone's vision was obstructed, they could still clearly sense everything with their spiritual awareness. With just one swing from Senior Black Tiger, a huge claw print was etched into the ground. Ha 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 ha. Senior Black Tiger issued a carefree laugh. I believed that in this lifetime, I would never be able to attack like that again. I never imagined a day like this would come. Fan Shan and Beast Taming Sect's master had been both scared and happy. Senior Black Tiger didn't need to explain the current circumstances, it was clearly the effect of the elixir. Yang Chen, you have done a great favor for my Beast Taming Sect, you have our undying gratitude. The tone of Beast Taming Sect master was trembling. With a defying stage Senior Black Tiger as the head, the future generations of the Beast Taming Sect was secure, so why wouldn't he be excited? Although Fan Shan hadn't said anything but his slightly trembling body had already given away his emotions. 2 Yuning stage experts seemed to be shaking at the cave entrance of the small cave of Senior Black Tiger, as if caught in paroxysms of joy. What a formidable elixir. Senior Black Tiger finally stopped exerting himself, slowly walking over to Yang Chen and bowing in thanks. That is only because Senior's cultivation is profound and had been able to forcibly suppress the injury for so many years. Yang Chen made a slight smile, but didn't claim any credit for himself. If Senior hadn't controlled it, and this injury had worsened even more, then even if Junior had enormous skills, it wouldn't have been of any help. Ha. Black Tiger's attitude was one that had just been relieved of a huge burden. For the last several hundred years, he had confined himself to a cave at the back of the Beast Taming Sect to keep his internal injuries stable. His cultivation had begun to waste away, and he was withering away to death while hoping to stay as the support of the younger generation. The day after he swallowed the Black Tiger suppressing elixir, his injury, for the first time in centuries, didn't flare up, held firmly under control by the elixir. Astonishingly, the injury had even healed itself a bit. Prior to this, his constituent spirit had been slowly dissipating. Now, as long as he doesn't enter a life or death battle or encounter an accident, his life had been saved. But for the condition of the injury to improve, that was inconsistent with Yang Chen's words.
The only possible reason was that the second-grade Black Tiger suppressing elixir was much more formidable than the first-grade elixir. That had greatly increased his confidence. If this elixir could already improve his condition, maybe a complete recovery wasn't an extravagant hope. Next, Beast Taming Sect Master and a few elders grandly received Yang Chen. A veritable mountain of assorted delicacies were prepared to show their gratitude for Yang Chen. Several wielding stage experts clustered around Yang Chen. Apart from profusely expressing their thanks, most were almost speechless with gratefulness. One of them insisted on presenting Yang Chen with a high-grade spirit pad upon seeing him without one. Senior, apart from the previously agreed remuneration, Junior does not dare to be greedy. Yang Chen politely refused that Senior's good intentions. He already had obtained the heavenly roar and didn't harbor any extravagant hope to obtain any other like it. Moreover, what kind of spirit beast could be called high-grade in front of heavenly roar? This refusal made the seniors of Beast Taming Sect look at Yang Chen in a new light. There aren't many youngsters who were so principled and also knew how to control his greed, especially one who had such a high-grade pill concocting skill. His future accomplishments were boundless, and fortunately Fan Shan already had good relationship with Yang Chen. This was simply the good karma of Beast Taming Sect. But the Beast Taming Sect didn't dare to spread the news about Senior Black Tiger's injury being stabilized, fearing that if any formidable opponent heard this news, then maybe they would attack. They had intended to make the news public only after Yang Chen had completely refined the Black Tiger spirit supporting pill, and Senior Black Tiger's injury had completely recovered. It was better to be safe than sorry. In reality, the Beast Taming Sect didn't have many formidable enemies, but indeed there were some sects who were not willing to see Beast Taming Sect take a superior position and were only waiting for opportunity to strike. These sects would use all kind of tricks to undermine the Beast Taming Sect, which honestly couldn't be defended against. As such, the entirety of the Beast Taming Sect was on guard. It wasn't that Beast Taming Sect had a guilty conscience or anything. Even when Elder Wu refined the heaven-seizing pill, as formidable as he was, he had also found a secret location and only publicly declared it after the refining had been completed. In this world, everything cannot be revealed to people. Cultivators were also quite shameless and envious people like ordinary mortals. After Senior Black Tiger's injuries had stabilized, he was also unwilling to stay in the cave and also came out to greet him, flying towards some unknown place to enjoy himself. In any case, he hadn't returned until Yang Chen departed, and the sect master of Beast Taming Sect was extremely apologetic for causing trouble. Yang Chen also didn't care much about it. In any case, he had met him personally. Yang Chen could already see that Senior Black Tiger was not someone who would talk about emotions openly, so perhaps when the time comes, apart from the reward of Beast Taming Sect, Senior Black Tiger would also reward him generously. Naturally, this was something to be taken up later, and there was no need to mention it for now. The books promised to Yang Chen had already been rewarded to him. As before, Fan Shan, this wielding stage expert, escorted Yang Chen back to second Fierce Yang courtyard at Myking Mountain, and only then departed. Originally, Yang Chen had intended to immediately enter seclusion with Zhu Chentao after returning to the mountain, but he had currently captured Cheng Wenkai within his medicine garden. He wasn't feeling particularly anxious, so he arranged an appointment with Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Law Enforcement Hall's Hallmaster Meng Xian at his courtyard. Once they entered the door, Yang Chen strongly insisted that Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Meng Xian place several layers of restrictions. Hearing this request, Palace Master Zhang Jiao understood that Yang Chen may have once again discovered some major event which could be not spread. Without another word, he placed down top-quality restrictions and calmly took a seat, waiting for Yang Chen to speak. Yang Chen also didn't conceal anything and directly spoke about his encounter with Cheng Wenkai. At the same time, he also voiced his doubts. A Jedan expert from the Greatest Heaven sect who seemingly had no matters to tend to, why would he come to the place where he was extremely humiliated before? Most of all, after the event, Yang Chen had also discovered a carefully refined mask which could change one's presence and appearance at will, which only raised more doubts. Because of this you captured him? Law Enforcement Hall's Hallmaster Meng Xian was a firm and decisive person. Hearing this, he puckered his brows. It is not appropriate. If you want to kill him then kill him, why go through all this trouble? He is certainly suspicious. Palace Master Zhang Jiao didn't think much and directly instructed Yang Chen. Take him out, we will carefully examine him at once. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 198 There is another traitor again. When he took out Cheng Wenkai, he didn't look like the others who had crumbled due to their five senses being sealed by Yang Chen. On one hand, the time he was sealed was short, while on the other, Cheng Wenkai was already a Jedan stage expert. Although his cultivation wouldn't be able to increase greatly in future, his mental state was still firm.
Compared to the pitiful creatures at the foundation stage, he still hadn't collapsed completely. Looking at Yang Chen and Palace Master Zhang Jiao, Cheng Wenkai knew that he had already fallen into the hands of the pure Yang Palace. So without spouting any nonsense, he immediately said to Palace Master Zhang Jiao. This Cheng is extremely delighted to meet the Palace Master of your noble sect. Want to die? That's easy. Before Palace Master Zhang Jiao could open his mouth, Yang Chen replied in place of him. If you think that you will remain alive after insulting my master, that's just wishful thinking. However, before you die, this junior wants to know, why did you come to my King Mountain? Even though Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Law Enforcement Hall's Hallmaster were present, Yang Chen didn't conceal his killing intent. Both Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Hallmaster Meng Xian didn't object to it. After all, they knew what status Gao Yu held in Yang Chen's heart, and by abusing Gao Yu, Cheng Wenkai was just courting death. The two of them absolutely wouldn't obstruct him. Regarding Yang Chen's intense interrogation, both of them didn't say anything. They only wanted for Cheng Wenkai to speak the truth. As for whether Cheng Wenkai lived or died, they were not concerned at all. Yang Chen had already told them that no one knew he had Cheng Wenkai, so they didn't care much whether or not Yang Chen killed him. Humph, don't get too carried away. Since Cheng Wenkai knew that he would most certainly die, why would he cooperate? This old man isn't afraid of death, so why would I be afraid of your threats, you stupid brat? Once he said these words, both Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Hallmaster Meng Xian knitted their brows. Yang Chen had apparently said too much just now. Since Cheng Wenkai knew he didn't have any chance of survival, there was a low possibility of getting any information out of him. Very good. Yang Chen expressionlessly nodded his head, revealing a fake smile which could make anyone tremble in fear, and said to Cheng Wenkai. This junior greatly admires senior's courage. Originally this junior had intended to seal senior's senses for the duration of my seclusion of about 10 years, so that senior could figure out what he wants to do. But since senior has such strong resolve, then this junior would have to change his plan. After saying this, Yang Chen fished out a small porcelain bottle from his Qianqin pouch and took out a pill the size of a dragon's eye that seemed completely ordinary. While looking at Cheng Wenkai, he laughed once again, and afterwards, grabbing Cheng Wenkai's chin, he shoved the pill in his mouth. Gently caressing his throat with a little bit of power and applying some spirit power, he pushed the pill into Cheng Wenkai's stomach. Cheng Wenkai only sneered, since he knew that he was already going to die, what kind of torture couldn't he endure? Furthermore, this was just a seemingly insignificant pill. If it weren't for Yang Chen grabbing his chin making him unable to speak, he would have already snorted. After feeding him the pill, Yang Chen threw Cheng Wenkai back onto the ground, not caring about him anymore, and turned towards Palace Master Zhang Jiao and began to inform him about the matters of the beast-taming sect. Hearing that Senior Black Tiger had such strength even while injured, Palace Master Zhang Jiao was astonished. Fortunately, Yang Chen belonged to Pure Yang Palace, otherwise some other formidable sect would have appeared within the cultivating world. On one side, they were happily talking, while on the other side, Cheng Wenkai was unable to endure the pain. Even though his spirit power and cultivation had already been sealed, even though he couldn't move his body was still issuing trembling sounds. It was obvious how much pain he was in. What kind of pill is this? Law Enforcement Hall's Hallmaster Meng Xian was very interested in this. If the Law Enforcement Hall could obtain some of these pills, then maybe they could have a much easier time getting information from the mouths of others. Ah, it's nothing much, just a pill which makes them feel itchy over their whole body. Yang Chen said, lightening its effect. While speaking, Yang Chen went over to Cheng Wenkai's side. Actually sometimes, pain isn't that much, many people aren't afraid of pain. But itching is different, itching is intolerable, isn't that so, Senior Cheng? Hearing Yang Chen's words, apparently Meng Xian also sensed an itch at some part of body and couldn't help but reach out his hand to scratch it. Cheng Wenkai could only produce frightening, shivering sounds. As he could still control the muscles on his face, he was incessantly trying to make wry faces to get relief for the strange itch on his face. Though his body still couldn't move, this was a gleam of hope for him, this extravagant little hope that he still could move a small part of his body. Senior Cheng, not allowing you to move is for Senior's own good. Yang Chen said to Cheng Wenkai with deadpan expression. If Senior's hand and foot could move, this junior can guarantee on his life, even a piece of flesh won't be left on your body. As for why wouldn't a piece of flesh be left, everyone knew even without Yang Chen explaining. Cheng Wenkai would certainly scratch himself until his body was filled with bruises and cuts. It is still early, Senior should continue to sense this for a while longer. Yang Chen laughed. If the antidote of this pill isn't taken, then the effect of this medicine can last for 1 year. This junior can absolutely guarantee your life, but if you endure it for 1 more day and can still control your flying sword, then you will certainly use your flying sword to scrape all the flesh off your body and be left with only bones. CC. Tang Wenkai still couldn't do anything. Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Meng Xian, standing behind his body, already sucked in a breath of cold air. A pill which could make him remove his own flesh, how ruthless. We have plenty of time, so we can take things slow. Yang Chen sat down in front of Cheng Wenkai, bowing his head to look at Cheng Wenkai's twisted face and calmly said. This pill of mine doesn't have a name for now. Senior, your fortune is great. Since you are the first one to experience this pill, I wonder what Senior thinks is a suitable name for this pill. This Junior has already thought of a few names, but I still think they are not good enough. Maybe Senior can suggest some good name to Junior. Yang Chen extended his hand and began to count names one by one on his fingertips. Asking for itch, asking for death, asking for killing of 7 generations, asking for ripping your flesh alive, which does Senior think is the most suitable? While Yang Chen was speaking, Cheng Wenkai's expression twisted again and again. After Yang Chen finished listing down all the names, Cheng Wenkai couldn't tolerate it anymore and tried to speak loudly. End me. Quickly. With great struggle and his face changing several expressions, Cheng Wenkai was only capable of speaking these few words. Rather than saying that he spoke those words, it would be better to say that he squeezed them out from his throat. Want death? Yang Chen sneered. Be relieved, Senior, even if you want to live, you won't be able to. As for when, you will have to wait until you have informed this Junior about everything, and then this Junior will personally send you on your way. I will speak. Tang Wenkai again yelled, but only with this yell was the strange itch in the vicinity of his neck slightly dulled. Junior is listening. However, Yang Chen didn't have any sympathetic expression on his face and coldly said. Tang Wenkai narrated everything while stammering the entire time, and Yang Chen and other two finally knew of his intention for coming here. Because of falling down from Zhanxian stage and in addition to his life expectancy and Zhanxian being substantially damaged, regardless of how hard Cheng Wenkai cultivated, he wouldn't have any great future accomplishments. Being able to return to Zhanxian stage was already the extreme limit and he couldn't raise his cultivation any higher. However, after all is said and done, he was still a Zhanxian stage expert. Many cultivators with limited aptitude didn't reach this stage in their entire lifetime. Although Cheng Wenkai wasn't the focus of Greatest Heaven sect to be nurtured, the sect still has its reputation to keep and use Cheng Wenkai as an example for other sects that they will not abandon any disciples. There was great hatred between Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Cheng Wenkai, they were irreconcilable enemies. It was impossible to reduce the tension between them. So his sect had considered it over and over again and had given out a secret mission to secretly rope in some disciples of the Pure Yang Palace and destroy it from inside in order to topple the Pure Yang Palace. Naturally, this plan was a long-term operation and success couldn't be achieved overnight. But Cheng Wenkai himself took the initiative to undertake this mission as if he was gaining a precious treasure. He was a Zhanxian stage expert claiming to be a person who accepts important missions, but in reality he had been reduced to the most pathetic creature. Cheng Wenkai had been so blinded by his hatred that he didn't even realize he had been deceived. When Yang Chen and others heard this, they all shook their heads with a grim smile. This time, apart from looking for an opportunity to rope in some disciples of Pure Yang Palace, he still had one more important mission. That was to retrieve some important item concealed at some place in Myking Mountain. As for what it was, Cheng Wenkai himself didn't know. Where is it? Meng Xian asked in a deep voice, but his expression was furious. Something was being concealed at Myking Mountain, and by sending Cheng Wenkai to retrieve it, it could clearly be seen that it was the work of someone that was from the Pure Yang Palace. Why does Pure Yang Palace need have another traitor? Meng Xian couldn't help but get enraged again. When the strange itch stopped, Cheng Wenkai didn't dare to conceal anything and told them the location. However, since it was not far from Pure Yang Palace's entrance, it clearly showed that the person who had concealed this thing couldn't go too far out of Pure Yang Palace. Hearing Cheng Wenkai's information about the location, Meng Xian was just about to immediately probe that location, but he was stopped by Yang Chen. Don't be hasty, Hallmaster, listen to what he has to say. Yang Chen stopped Meng Xian with some intention in mind. Meng Xian was startled, then without saying anything, remained at his original position, waiting for Yang Chen to continue with the questioning. Now, he could also see that although Cheng Wenkai had been forced to reveal everything, he also hadn't informed them some affairs which no one paid any attention to. The location where that thing is concealed, what kind of characteristics does it have? Yang Chen said calmly while standing near Cheng Wenkai. While speaking, he stretched his hand to form some kind of sign, and a wave of spirit power hit Cheng Wenkai's body. Cheng Wenkai sensed a wave of comfort passing through his whole body, as if the strange itch had been entirely scratched off by someone. He was unable to immerse himself in comfort, as this sensation only lasted for a few seconds, following which the itch became even more difficult to endure. Since he had been enduring the strange itch from the start, he would have been able to continue enduring it.
But after it was cut off for a few moments and he had experienced comfort, when he had to go through that itch again, the sensation became even more difficult to endure. Immediately, Cheng Wenkai's body started trembling violently once again and his face started transforming into sinister expressions again. That place has a hidden spell formation. Cheng Wenkai almost yelled in a hoarse voice. Only after obtaining the command tile that I have can one go in. Without saying anything, Yang Chen rummaged through Cheng Wenkai's Qianqin pouch and discovered a command tile. The tile created was with metal attribute and had a spell formation engraved on the forefront, while on the back, the word command was written. Isn't there any ambush? Yang Chen flipped the command tile several times looking all around and then tossed it to Meng Xian. With the command tile. Cheng Wenkai was already unable to preserve anymore and quickly spoke out. When Meng Xian received the command tile, he bowed to his head to examine it carefully. He then looked towards Yang Chen and nodded once. Then, he rushed out immediately after lifting the restrictions. Palace Master Zhang Jiao promptly restored the restrictions and sat down on one side with a grim expression. Palace Master, should I ask him about the cultivation methods of Greatest Heaven Sect? Seeing Palace Master's unsightly expression, Yang Chen couldn't help but ask. Cultivating his sect's cultivation method would be a taboo. Palace Master Zhang Jiao's line of thought was broken by these words as he quickly replied to Yang Chen. By Pure Yang Palace's cultivation methods are not inferior to other sects, so there is no need for this. Regarding this however, Yang Chen didn't approve, but he didn't say anything. The cultivation methods that Cheng Wenkai had access to were finite and there was no need to go through that much trouble for the sake of those low-level cultivation methods. Yang Chen, since you said that my Pure Yang Palace is one of the Grand Dao sects, then why is there someone who is cheating their master and deceiving their sect? Meng Xian hadn't returned back yet and Palace Master Zhang Jiao also didn't have the intention of continuing to question Cheng Wenkai anymore. So instead, he turned towards Yang Chen and asked. Greatest Heaven Sect is currently the unannounced leader of Dao sects, naturally people will follow behind them, this is just human nature. Yang Chen said without thinking much. Greatest Heaven Sect had never stopped annexing small sects. In reality all the other big sects are the same. Pure Yang Palace has many formidable cultivation methods and magic weapons that were left behind by the great ancestor, this is just what Greatest Heaven Sect wants. Yang Chen didn't say much, but it convinced Palace Master Zhang Jiao that he understood everything clearly. The great ancestor was valiant and formidable, but the present disciples had failed to live up to his expectations. The most formidable ones had only been able to reach wielding stage. It would be a wonder if the big sects didn't lust after such a big piece of meat. Similarly, there are some disciples who thought that the Pure Yang Palace didn't have many future prospects and that if they merged with the Greatest Heaven Sect, then saying that they were a disciple of the Greatest Heaven Sect was much more pleasant to hear compared to saying that they were a disciple of the Pure Yang Palace. Palace Master Zhang Jiao didn't ask anything else and only closed his eyes and began waiting. Yang Chen was also got bored to death and began to search through Cheng Wenkai's Qianqin pouch to see whether there was something that could be of use to him. After a moment had passed, Meng Xian quickly returned. This location was near the outside gate, so it was not that far away from the hidden spell formation. With Hallmaster Meng Xian's wielding stage strength, he quickly made the journey. After returning, he handed over a small Qianqin pouch to Palace Master Zhang Jiao without saying anything. This was clearly retrieved from the location which Cheng Wenkai had mentioned. There were no seal marks on top, so the sect it was from couldn't be distinguished. After opening Qianqin pouch, Palace Master Zhang Jiao was startled once again. He then took out two different things from the Qianqin pouch. One was a porcelain bottle containing several tens of pills. Looking at the pills, Yang Chen was certain without any hesitation that they were the Shunkai pill refined by Holin for the disciples of Yishi Manor. The other item was a jade slip which Palace Master Zhang Jiao swept through his spiritual awareness to check the content that was inside. However, once he saw what was inside, he became even more furious. The jade slip contained everything which had happened in the Pure Yang Palace in recent times in great details, regardless of whether it was important or not. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 199 Cheng Wenkai dealt with. Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Hallmaster Meng Xian were extremely angry, although these two things didn't seem very remarkable, but with ease, the Pure Yang Palace had been completely sold out to Greatest Heaven Sect. Shunkai pill was used by the outer disciples, assisting them in finding spirit power. Although it was not very high grade, it required a unique flame controlling technique to refine. Because of the Shunkai pill, the number of outer disciples in Pure Yang Palace had grown several folds compared to previous years. However, this was Pure Yang Palace's secret trump card for revitalizing the foundation.
Apart from Yang Chen and Holin, only the Palace Master Zhang Jiao, Medicine Hall Master, Law Enforcement Hall Master and few other elders knew about the Shunkai pill. This was Pure Yang Palace's secret. Even the Hall Masters of Fierce Yang Hall, Luminous Moon Hall and other such halls also didn't know about the Shunkai pill. Yang Chen and Holin had been repeatedly urged again and again to not tell others. Even if it were the managers of Yishu Manor who were responsible for dispersing the pills among the outer disciples, they also didn't know what kind of pill was it. They only knew that it was provided by higher-ups to supplement the bodies of those outer disciples. Once they tried to cultivate, the pill would be consumed completely. Therefore every time they cultivated, they would ask for a dose of the pill, and that would be all. Presently finding this one bottle of Shunkai pills meant that this secret had already been discovered by that person hidden within the Pure Yang Palace. He had even acquired a bottle of it by some method. If this had been handed over to Greatest Heaven Sect and they could research it, then perhaps they might not find out about the refining method, but they would certainly find out about the use of Shunkai pills. And when the time comes, the Greatest Heaven Sect would gather some other big sects to suppress the Pure Yang Palace under the name of righteousness. Then the Pure Yang Palace would just sink into passiveness. Although, it would not go as far bringing some damage because of Shunkai pill. On the contrary, this Shunkai pill would rather bring some advantages, but Pure Yang Palace's advantage would also be removed and everything would again return as before. This kind of secret naturally could be hidden only for some time, but if someone betrayed them, then how could it not make Palace Master Zhang Jiao, who was always thinking of reviving the Pure Yang Palace, furious? The things recorded on the jade slip were the last straw for his patience. Not only what kind of tendency had the upper layers of the Pure Yang Palace formed in the recent years, but even the changes in the middle layer of Pure Yang Palace was also recorded clearly. Even the newly established eccentric hall was also reported about within this jade slip. A special analysis was performed in great detail, and even the fact that the Pure Yang Palace may have grasped the secret method allowing the demon beasts to transform into human form was mentioned. Otherwise the 3 demon beasts of the eccentric hall wouldn't be able to retain human form. This was again a great secret which Pure Yang Palace had tried to conceal in many ways, but unexpectedly, this was also clearly recorded on the jade slip. Although the appearance transformation secrets weren't recorded, but this was already enough to make him furious. Yang Chen's current movements were also recorded that Yang Chen was concocting pills in seclusion, but there wasn't much clarification on it. Probably that person hadn't got the information about what kind of pill Yang Chen and Zhu Chentao were concocting as of yet. If this jade slip had fallen into the hands of the Greatest Heaven Sect, the entire Pure Yang Palace would have been naked in front of the Greatest Heaven Sect without any secrets. Alice Master, a good spell formation had already been laid at that location. If I didn't have that command tile, then even with my cultivation, I would have barely escaped alive. After Palace Master had completely swept the jade slip, only then did Meng Xian open his mouth. The spell formation was hidden remarkably well, only after reaching within 3 feet radius of it could one discover it. That place was originally above half a wall over a cliff near a bare rock, and since it didn't have medicinal ingredients or any other heavenly treasures, so why would anyone go to that place? What made them feel more astonished was that a spell formation which could even stop a Yuanying stage expert was arranged near the gate of the Pure Yang Palace without anyone suspecting anything. This certainly couldn't be done overnight. Once Palace Master Zhang Jiao thought that the Greatest Heaven Sect might possibly have been monitoring the movements of the Pure Yang Palace for maybe past several hundred years or maybe more, he immediately broke out in cold sweat. Yang Chen was also completely astonished. Originally, he used to believe that the Pure Yang Palace was exterminated because of him, but he hadn't expected that the Greatest Heaven Sect had surprisingly laid plans so many years ago, concealing them so deeply. Even thinking about it made them afraid. Maybe, him killing that young master at that time was also a big conspiracy. Desolate Valley's arrangement. Yang Chen almost yelled out, but still managed to say out this line calmly. It must be known, after the incident at Desolate Valley was revealed, all sects were endlessly shocked when they heard that several hundred years ago the Greatest Heaven Sect had placed spell formation in 5 Phases Sect's territory. 5 Phases Sect was a first-grade sect, by comparison, the spell formation arranged at Pure Yang Palace was just a small appetizer. The only fact to rejoice at was that the Shunkai pill hadn't been explained in much detail, rather there was only a guess. This clearly illustrated one thing, that spy or those spies didn't know about the use of Shunkai pill. With this, at least those people who knew about the Shunkai pill could be removed from suspicion. Good. Good. Alice Master Zhang Jiao almost exploded with anger, his whole body was unable to restrain his emotions and was shaking, suddenly his presence exploded out because of anger, even Yang Chen and others also felt some pressure. Fortunately, Yang Chen could still control, only Cheng Wenkai wasn't that comfortable, with a strange itch. In addition to Palace Master Zhang Jiao's pressure, he was simply thrown into double hell. Bullying us to the limit. After shouting loudly, Palace Master Zhang Jiao loudly commanded. Meng Xian, carefully investigate, who all were in contact with the things written on this jade slip. Yes. Meng Xian bowed his head to accept his command. In any case, this was his job as the Hallmaster of Law Enforcement Hall to investigate this. He had been furious in rage from the time he had found about these things. Even without Palace Master's command, he would still have investigated this matter. The scoundrel, Yang Chen, deal with him however you want. Pointing towards Cheng Wenkai, Palace Master Zhang Jiao said without the least bit of compassion. Other people already have formed evil schemes to interfere in his sect, even laying yes Palace Master. Yang Chen similarly agreed. From the start, he hadn't intended to let Cheng Wenkai remain alive, and with Palace Master Zhang Jiao's words, he could deal with him without any worries. Be relieved and concoct pill with Zhu Chentao, as for other matters, you need not worry about them for now. In the end, Palace Master instructed him once more. Presently, Pure Yang Palace's influence was too little, it was impossible to directly confront the greatest heaven sect. Yang Chen refining the Black Tiger Spirit supporting pill will have many great benefits and will pull many allies towards Pure Yang Palace, allowing the influence of Pure Yang Palace to become even greater. Just settle the matter with Beast Taming Sect first, then I will permit you to enter the secret pavilion again. Palace Master Zhang Jiao had also made his resolve. Yang Chen had not only pulled an ally for the sect but had also discovered such a big conspiracy. He should certainly be rewarded. Moreover, the reward couldn't be a small one. Regarding entering the secret pavilion, Yang Chen didn't have any great interest. Whether it was going in several times or few times, it didn't make a difference to Yang Chen. In any case, the thing that Yang Chen wanted most from the secret pavilion, the real pure Yang fire, he had already obtained the safekeeping rights for the next 300 years. Within the next 300 years, Yang Chen had the confidence that he could certainly find a method to refine and absorb the real pure Yang fire. Even if he took a step back and couldn't find any method to absorb it, he could still use the profound spirit furnace to absorb the real pure Yang fire. As for other things within the secret pavilion, he had no interest. Even in Palace Master Zhang Jiao's hands, Cheng Wenkai didn't have any hope of living. Under Yang Chen's hands, there was absolutely no chance of him remaining alive. For every grievance someone responsible, for every debt there is a debtor, you had tried to injure this junior over and over again. This time you have insulted Junior's master again. You cannot remain alive anymore, be at ease and start on your journey. Regarding Cheng Wenkai who had already collapsed, Yang Chen didn't have any compassion and directly slashed his sword and beheaded him. At the instant when his head was removed from his neck, Cheng Wenkai unexpectedly had a smile, as if he had been freed from a great burden, which made the others present feel even more dread towards that pill of Yang Chen's. The Jet Stage expert's corpse, although it wouldn't be of much help, would still provide some nourishment to the Blood Phantom Vine. Very quickly, under the roots of Blood Phantom Vine, Cheng Wenkai's body turned into bones. In this world, there wouldn't be a person named Cheng Wenkai from Greatest Heaven Sect anymore. Not too long after, Pure Yang Palace released news, Yang Chen and Medicine Hall's Hallmaster Zhu Chentao had taken out a pill which could extend one's life by 40,000 years from the secret pavilion for research. However, it was stolen by someone, and his identity and whereabouts were currently unknown. The entire Pure Yang Palace was extremely furious and had unleashed all its manpower in hunting down the unknown culprit. While searching, they had also discovered that hidden illusion spell. By the time a few experts got there and forcefully broke down the spell formation, all traces of that mysterious culprit were long gone. Moreover, the Greatest Heaven Sect also didn't have any information about the whereabouts of Cheng Wenkai, and no one heard about any news regarding him. Everyone unanimously believed that Cheng Wenkai had snatched the 40,000 life pill and then had begun to cultivate in seclusion. The upper echelons of the Greatest Heaven Sect hated Cheng Wenkai to the core. This time, surprisingly, several hundred years of meticulously arranged spell formation for hiding items near Pure Yang Palace was also destroyed. While the information was released on one side, on the other, Yang Chen had already begun to prepare for the refining the Black Tiger Spirit supporting pill. This time, he also had to go to Yangliang Mountain for almost 1 month. When Yang Chen was not present, Zhu Chentao took Holin as his disciple with great fanfare. Moreover, he also summarized all the methods they had used during the refining of Black Tiger suppressing pill for her. Regardless of whether it was Zhu Chentao or Holin, both had benefited from the experience. After the official ceremony for master and disciple, Yang Chen and others once again came together at the second Fierce Yang Hall and spent almost 10 years to refine the Black Tiger Spirit supporting pill that is supposed to cure Senior Black Tiger's injury completely. The process was almost similar to the refining of the Black Tiger suppressing pill.
First Yang Chen used the geocentric fire and purified all the ingredients, then, Zhu Chentao took over the refining and with normal methods, and refined the ingredients to a certain stage. After congealing the pill in the initial step, Yang Chen again advanced the refining meticulously, finally finishing the pill. Everyone was skillfully advancing the pill concocting process, and this time, there were a lot more ingredients used. Moreover, the powder from the inner den of Senior Black Tiger was also included, so they couldn't even be a little careless. However, this was the inner den of a Dacheng stage demon beast, so Yang Chen had to spend around half a year to refine it perfectly. Then, Zhu Chentao once again began the long-term refining process. Refining the pill was not a job that could be completed overnight, and all the pill concocting masters knew this from experience. The physical strength and spirit power had to be properly distributed, but this was not a difficult matter for Zhu Chentao. The beginning process was relatively easy, and Zhu Chentao even had energy left over to talk to Holin about some pill concocting techniques while refining. He also explained to her logically about identifying and dealing with medicinal ingredients, and the medicinal liquid refined by Yang Chen was the best kind of sample to deal with. While Zhu Chentao was refining, Yang Chen began to fuse the geocentric fire with a flame formed by fusion of green phosphorus fire and cold ice fire to form a completely new flame. Naturally, this was certainly not Yang Chen's final flame, but was just another transitional flame. Yang Chen was even disinclined to name it and just called it hybrid fire. Yang Chen's goal was to fuse a large number of third and fourth fire-attributed flames, especially the real sun fire, real moon fire, pure yang real fire, and if possible, also find and fuse pure yin real fire, and finally transform the fusion into one of the most formidable flames, the yin and yang heaven, burning fire, or perhaps also known as the heaven and earth burning heavenly fire. But this goal was still too far away, and presently Yang Chen could only fuse these low-grade flames. He didn't even dare to lightly touch the real sun fire and real moon fire. According to his plan, only after he had congealed his Dan and entered the Jidan stage would he be able to work on the real sun fire and the real moon fire. Before fusing, Yang Chen also intended to check upon his spirit beast, Heavenly Roar. The spirit beast pouch he had purchased at the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion was quite low level, so Yang Chen had put Heavenly Roar in the medicine garden. Since he also had the beast-taming secrets of the demon race, Yang Chen didn't forget to form an initial stage connection with Heavenly Roar. Within the medicine garden, Heavenly Roar could eat many formidable medicinal herbs whenever he wished, apart from the blood phantom vine. But Heavenly Roar only ate several profound yang fruits. Other than that, he wouldn't touch the other medicinal herbs. Whenever he was hungry, he would start nibbling at the profound yang fruits. Apart from those fruits, regardless of whether it was thousand-year-old ginsengs or anything else, Heavenly Roar wouldn't even look at them. This behavior surprised Yang Chen greatly. Even if he threw spirit stones at Heavenly Roar, he would treat them disdainfully. Yang Chen was at a loss for how to deal with this issue. He didn't have many memories pertaining to feeding Heavenly Roar, and it seemed that only after reaching the spiritual world could he consult some seniors about this problem. Only, this time, when he opened the medicine garden to take a look, Yang Chen was astonished. Heavenly Roar, the ash-gray-colored little pup, was surprisingly holding a flying sword horizontally within his mouth and was excitedly jumping around the medicine garden. Where did he get that flying sword within the medicine garden? Yang Chen was also greatly surprised but quickly understood. This sword was inside the Qiankan pouch that he had thrown inside the medicine garden when he was dealing with Cheng Wenkai. Heavenly Roar had somehow found it and was playing with it. Thinking about Heavenly Roar's origin, Yang Chen immediately laid down the worries in his heart. Seemingly, this kind of spirit beasts require some extraordinary method to be cultivated. He might as well throw in all of the several thousand flying swords he had gathered inside the medicine garden. Heavenly Roar was also quite knowledgeable. These flying swords had been refined by the Heavenly Star's treasure refining secrets, Earth Fiend sacrificial spell secrets and universal treasure raising secrets. They immediately caught the attention of Heavenly Roar and he began to rush towards them excitedly. However, he still didn't dare touch the high-grade ones, only picking a seemingly low-grade one and slowly began to lick it. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 200 Tribulation. As soon as the pill forms. Looking at Heavenly Roar happily licking the low-grade flying sword, Yang Chen realized he now knew how to cultivate this small pup spirit beast and became excited. Feeling ecstatic, he also felt anticipation with regards to how formidable this beast would become once he matured. How would he look? After visiting the spirit beast, Yang Chen gave some pointers to Holin. He then began the fusion of 3 third-grade flames. As the number of flames to be fused increased, the difficulty of handling these flames also increased. However, for Yang Chen, this increased difficulty didn't exceed the amount of trouble he could handle. It only required more time and patience. While carefully attending to her master, Holin also began to study a large number of jade slips. Zhu Chentao also didn't ask much of her and only taught her about a large number of ingredients she was already familiar with. He also taught her how to identify and deal with these ingredients, along with their medicinal efficiency. This was not like the basic education she had obtained at Yishu Manor, but was rather a basic knowledge provided to improve all the principles of pill concocting and direction for more research. Apart from these subjects, she also had to learn about controlling flames. Zhu Chentao was very lazy regarding this point and directly told Holin to go to Yang Chen for guidance. With a devoted mind, Holin began to use her flames to form shapes like other living things, in accordance to Yang Chen's guidance. Zhu Chentao was also a student like Holin right now. Refining such a high-grade elixir allowed Zhu Chentao's horizons to be expanded. At the same time, he broadened his line of thought. Although he was using the most common refining method, Zhu Chentao was still able to comprehend many extraordinary things. Each day seemed to pass peacefully, with everyone busy on their own matters, but the three people immersed in their own preoccupations didn't seem to realize the quick passage of time. After a certain amount of time passed, Holin would leave her own practice and would assist her master in deciding how much of an ingredient should be thrown in the pill concocting furnace, while also learning slowly from her master's pill concocting technique. The fire attribute on Yang Chen's body had become more and more powerful. Previously when Holin was following Yang Chen, she knew Yang Chen himself was very mystical, but she had perceived that all 5 attributes on his body seemed to be in perfect harmony. No one could predict what his attribute was. Presently, he was completely a fire-attributed cultivator. Moreover, his flame seemed quite formidable and gave a sensation of going out of control. This was not an illusion, rather Holin's genuine feeling. Like Holin, even Zhu Chentao also felt the same sensation. The transformation produced by fusing 3 flames not only made the power of the resultant flame greatly formidable, but the most direct effect was that the fire-attributed spirit power seemed to be going berserk. The fusion of flames was an extremely dangerous thing in other people's opinion, and the degree of danger could be compared to mixing formidable explosives and using a sledgehammer to hit them incessantly. If one is even a little careless, the mixture would immediately explode. For other people, sensing that Yang Chen's flame was about to go out of control was completely normal. More time passed, and the berserk flame within his body seemed to have obtained some control. The presence of fire within his body also lessened greatly. The anxious Holin could finally put down the worries in her heart and no longer felt that apprehensiveness. After taking a deep breath, Yang Chen finally stopped his cultivation and sobered up. During the fusion of the flames, he had to spend most of the time in resisting and controlling, finally successfully accomplishing the fusion. This time's fusion had great benefits for Yang Chen. The 4th fire spirit power had unexpectedly been upgraded to the 7th layer of the foundation stage. This upgrade was the equivalent of entering into the later foundation stage. Because of the increase in the 4th fire spirit power, the 3rd fire spirit power had also obtained replenishment and broke through the 4th layer of the foundation stage, entering into the 5th layer of the foundation stage. The spirit power of other attributes also increased, finally breaking through the threshold of the 3rd layer of the foundation stage and entering the 4th layer of foundation stage, collectively stepping into mid-foundation stage. Now Yang Chen seemed to be purely a fire-attributed cultivator. The 4th fire spirit power was around 3 layers higher compared to spirit power of other attributes, thus suppressing his other attributes and standing out. How much time has passed? While Holin was serving her master, Yang Chen casually asked. 5 years, senior apprentice brother. Holin respectfully replied, although her address of Yang Chen had already changed to senior apprentice brother, but her manner was still respectful like before. 5 years. Yang Chen also didn't expect this, although he knew that fusing the 3 flames would take long time, he hadn't expected that such a long time would have passed. He also didn't know what was happening outside or whether his master had already reached the foundation stage in the water attribute. How did Palace Master Zhang Jiao deal with the matter regarding Zhanxian? These thoughts kept passing through his mind and fading away. Speaking of Yang Chen, within Holin's view, his previous image was that of a lazy person. She had never before seen him sit and cultivate for any length of time while ignoring everything else. In the past, he would just circulate his spirit power once at fixed time every day. Afterwards, he would either read some book or perhaps do something which would astonish everyone. This time, Yang Chen cultivating directly for 5 years was an unprecedented matter for her. However, Holin had already reached foundation stage, so she could also sense Yang Chen's present cultivation vaguely. Within a brief 20 years, Yang Chen had surprisingly entered the late foundation stage. This progress had already surpassed the normal speed of advancing by leaps and bounds. Instead, with his speed, it would be closer to say that he was advancing with the speed of an ignited rocket.
For a very long time, Yang Chen's cultivation hovered within the initial foundation realm. It could be said, within these past 10 years of pill concocting, that Yang Chen had directly upgraded to the late foundation stage from initial foundation stage. This progress would astonish anyone. Ho Lin had been together with Yang Chen for a long time and also knew about his temper. Thus, she asked him about the reason cautiously. Yang Chen also didn't blame Ho Lin and explained at once for her that he had absorbed many flames and because of that his spirit power had increased. Other than that, there was no other reason. However, this method to increase one's cultivation substantially shouldn't be used so lightly. Rather, after using it once, one must spend a sufficient amount of time in consolidating the current cultivation. Otherwise, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. This was a fact even for Yang Chen. After explaining this to Ho Lin once, he also had to resume the daily routine of circulating the spirit power once again and slowly consolidate his current realm. At the same time, he also had to wait for Zhu Chentao to finish the early stage of refining. Heavenly Roar residing within the medicine garden until now could only hold the most low-level grade flying sword and lick it violently. Yang Chen also wasn't hasty. Instead, on an ordinary day, apart from reading those books sent by the beast-taming sect and guiding Ho Lin, he didn't have anything to do, so he used this time to refine the other flying swords he owned. He was convinced that as Heavenly Roar became more and more formidable, he would still be fond of more high-grade flying swords. Looking at Heavenly Roar holding and licking the flying sword madly, Yang Chen also decided something. After this time's refining was completed, he would go and find that drop of blood essence of a Heavenly Roar dog to provide proper supplements to Heavenly Roar. While Yang Chen was waiting leisurely, Zhu Chentao also finally completed the initial stage of the Black Tiger Spirit supporting pill and quickly shifted the medicinal liquid into Yang Chen's profound spirit furnace. The Black Tiger Spirit supporting pill was of a higher grade compared to the Black Tiger suppressing pill, so the difficulty was also higher. Furthermore, Yang Chen's attitude towards refining, it was also much more earnest. Zhu Chentao's excitement had already reached the same level as when Yang Chen had refined the Black Tiger suppressing pill to second grade. This time, Yang Chen didn't use that eye-dazzling method of controlling fire like last time. Instead, he used a method similar to Zhu Chentao, who had used the most basic method of controlling fire to advance the refining. But the more it was this way, the more serious Zhu Chentao became. From the time Yang Chen had refined the Black Tiger suppressing pill, Yang Chen had continued to use different refining methods, which gave Zhu Chentao an indistinct sensation, as if he had been looking at the gate of Yuning. Presently looking at Yang Chen sincerely using the most fundamental refining method, it was as if something was being stirred up in Zhu Chentao's stomach and suddenly he had a flash of understanding. Regardless of whatever kind of technique is used, some basic things always remained constant. The most fundamental things used anywhere, they are always reliable. He previously thought he couldn't reach Yuning's stage because he was not proficient in using different high-grade techniques, but now he discovered it was certainly not that way. Zhu Chentao seemed to have achieved great enlightenment during this period of time. After carefully observing Yang Chen's refining technique for a whole year, he suddenly burst out laughing. Then heaving a sigh of relief, he said, "I understand." Soon after, he sat upright on the ground, in the posture of cultivating and immersed into meditation. A puzzling expression crossed Ho Lin's face. She didn't know what her master had realized, but she honestly performed all her duties, not daring to be lazy in the slightest. Fortunately, there was sufficient spirit power, so there was basically no need to use spirit stones for supplement. There was no problem if any Da Cheng stage or lower level expert immersed himself in cultivation for a long time, so Ho Lin wasn't anxious about her master's safety. Zhu Chentao's meditation lasted for several years. Moreover, after the first 3.5 years of his cultivation had passed, Yang Chen had already refined the Black Tiger Spirit supporting pill and was ready to receive it. The spirit power within the pill furnace was in great turmoil, which caused Zhu Chentao sitting in cultivation to open up his eyes. He opened up his eyes perfectly at the time when Yang Chen was going to collect the pill and he hastily took a step forward to observe everything carefully. Using the pill collecting technique from Great Supreme Elder's pill refining scripture was indeed excessive in mortal world. Similarly, it gave great confidence to Yang Chen. The long process of pill concocting had been completed very smoothly without any mistakes, and finally at this last step, there basically wasn't any worry of the pill being a failure. The medicinal liquid within the profound spirit furnace began to rotate violently with Yang Chen's signal and slowly began to solidify. First a chaotic mess formed a lump, then slowly it began to rotate and turn spherical. The crude portions also began to disappear little by little, as if it was being sculpted carefully by an invisible hand. Finally, when Yang Chen made the final gesture and turned his hand into a fist, a spherical pill was shaped up in a moment.
On top of the elixir was a mark of black tiger that was quite realistic, as if an extremely gifted artisan had carved it on top, the long mark of hissing towards the sky. Although didn't make any sound, it gave a sensation of hearing a tiger's roar. And the instant the pill was finished, Zhu Chentao's body emitted a dazzling brilliance. Soon after, Yang Chen sensed something inappropriate in the surroundings. No way. Even Yang Chen couldn't help but become astounded. Zhu Chentao's situation this time was clearly the first sign of the Yuning stage. After this stage had passed, immediately tribulation of lightning would come. Only after passing the lightning tribulation could one be called a genuine Yuning stage expert. Hole in, leave immediately. Yang Chen immediately instructed Hole in and then loudly shouted facing the sky. Senior Gi, release the restrictions. While yelling, he quickly collected that pill within a small jade bottle. This was the result of exhausting hard work of almost 10 years. Yang Chen couldn't let it be destroyed by Zhu Chentao's lightning tribulation. He collected the profound spirit furnace and other things one by one properly, while on Zhu Chentao's side, the formation of Ying had already begun, his body was overflowing with spirit power. Yang Chen couldn't stay here anymore and quickly rushed out. Everyone present in the second Fierce Yang Hall had already sensed that events were far from encouraging and quickly rushed out to examine the situation. Although the range of influence of spirit power wasn't very large during the formation of Ying, but it was more than sufficient to cover the entire second Fierce Yang Hall. Everyone fall back quickly and do not influence Uncle Master Zhu's Ying formation. Yang Chen loudly commanded, which made everyone realize what was happening. Quickly, everyone followed Yang Chen's instructions and left the second Fierce Yang courtyard. Not to speak of 1 second Fierce Yang courtyard, even if there were 10 second Fierce Yang courtyards, Yang Chen was willing to exchange them for a Yuning stage expert. In any case, only some buildings would be damaged and there would be no harm the underground spirit vein. Yang Chen wasn't worried that anyone would interfere, having old tree demon's original body there, no one would be able to create a disturbance inside. He kept observing the transformation in Zhu Chentao's body from far away using his spiritual awareness while secretly assessing Zhu Chentao's current situation. Soon, Palace Master Zhang Jiao and other few elders who weren't in seclusion quickly hurried over there. On seeing Yang Chen, he asked only one question, whether the pill refining was a success. After Yang Chen nodded affirmatively, Palace Master's attention concentrated on Zhu Chentao's situation. Regardless of however much foreign help they might get, it would never be as reliable as having a Yuning stage expert in his own sect. The color of sky darkened suddenly with black clouds appearing in the sky, which continued to grow thicker and thicker. From time to time, a bolt of lightning would flicker among them. Everyone looking at this suddenly tensed up. This was the tribulation cloud of the lightning tribulation, which clearly meant that Zhu Chentao had already formed his Ying successfully and was only waiting for the tribulation lightning to arrive. The rotating lightning cloud in the air suddenly turned into a spiral, then immediately, a lightning strike struck Yang Chen's small courtyard. At that instant, Yang Chen's small courtyard immediately turned into fragments, revealing Zhu Chentao sitting inside in upright position. Zhu Chentao, who was baptized by thunder, remained sitting motionlessly. However, his body emitted a different brilliance as if he had been set on fire. The lightning strikes kept falling, second strike, third strike, all along until the 8th strike. Until now, Zhu Chentao hadn't shown any intentions of moving, but before the last strike, he stood up. The fire on his body also suddenly rose up, as if a bucket full of boiling oil had been poured on him. The fire seemed exceptionally clear under the black shadow. Bang. Finally, the last and thickest lightning strike directly struck at Zhu Chentao's forehead, almost penetrating inside. The flickering around Zhu Chentao's body continued for a good while, then slowly disappeared. The tribulation cloud in the sky also finally started to turn bright and finally disappeared. Palace Master. All elders. Without caring about his completely charred looks, Zhu Chentao rushed towards the higher-ups of Pure Yang Palace and bowed in front of them. Congratulations, Hall Master Zhu. Regardless of whether it was the Palace Master or the elders or other people who were watching, at this moment, everyone was saying the same thing. Palace Master Zhang Jiao burst out laughing, unable to hide his happiness. His sect only had few Yuning stage experts, let alone a Yuning stage pill concocting master. What other matter could bring him greater happiness compared to this? If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more.